Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode microplot is a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits into the overarching macro plot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order and can skip any you don't enjoy. Today, we are playing using the mechanics from a game called Fantasy World. It's our first time playing this, so we might make some mistakes. If you enjoy these mechanics, you can find Fantasy World on fantasyworldrpg.com or on DriveThruRPG. Build your own Fantasy World character and play a game with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Zidane.
Well, hello again, everyone. I am back again for another fantastical adventure. Oh, yes, I forgot. Sorry. So today, as I always like to change up my outfits, I'm still wearing the same black suit as always. It's a little colder outside, so I have my nice wool overcoat on again. I have a bright red vest on, but with the black button-down shirt and, once again, no ties. Ties are frivolous.
Armando Cantenza Bilanzo de Medici.
That is almost perfectly said. Hello, everyone. I am Armando Contenza Bilano de Medici. I am about a 6'2" person, like human being. I weigh only like 165 pounds because I'm very lean, but very muscular. Don't confuse that I'm so light and not strong and capable. I have a shoulder-length brown hair, very dark. It almost looks black, but it is very brown. My eyes are like a light amber color, and so it may be a little disconcerting if you look at me in the eyes, but trust me, I'm very, I'm direct, but I am friendly, unless you prove yourself not to be friendly. So I'm wearing typical, it's like, I only have like 3 sets of clothes, and they all are exactly the same. So it looks like I'm wearing the same thing every day. It's leather pants, leather boots, leather vest, and then a white shirt underneath the vest, because it's like for fighting. I want to be comfortable, not too tight, not too loose, just right, you know? Oh, of course, I did not mention, but I have a giant mustache, and it is perfectly trimmed. It's beautiful.
Excellent. And Sadie Duca.
Hi. Sorry, I don't speak much. So my throat got... Hi, everyone. I'm Sadie Duca. And Sadie is a Macritus elf. That means that she has very, very wide ears. They stick out from her head at a right angle. And she has white hair. That could be because she's so old, because she's 718 years old. But no, she's actually more like an 18-year-old human in age. Elves live a long time. And she's wearing a powder blue dress today.
Very nice. You're all in the Fire Breathing Kittens Guild Hall. The guild is a large building with a bar, a seating area with wooden tables and chairs, and a wall with a corkboard and job flyers posted. As you are hanging out, observing the guild hall, you see that Nilisag, the proprietor, owner of the guild hall, has dragged a stool over to the job board and is muttering to himself as he climbs onto the stool and tears down a flyer. And he's also has a small flyer tucked under his arm that he's putting up, kind of covering up the space that one was in.
So I'm very curious. I do check the job board every once in a while, and I think the one that he is taking down, I was saving in case, nobody else wanted it. I don't want to be greedy. So I'm going to walk up to Nulisag and I'm going to strike up a conversation because we're close after our last experience a couple of adventures ago. I'll say, excuse me, Nulisag, I see you are putting on a new job flyer and you are taking down an old one. Can you tell me about these jobs so maybe we could do that or something like that?
So he holds out the one that he had taken down and he says, this one is trash. I did not authorize this one. And then he points at the one he just put up and says, that one's okay.
So my interest is very big. So I don't know if everybody knows, but I am a mercenary sword fighter. And it may not be authorized, but maybe I'm going to discreetly later put it in my pocket and check it out, Because it could be something I want to do later. But I don't want to do that right in front of Nulisag because he's like the boss of the whole guild and I don't want to get in trouble. So I say, okay, let me take care of that for you, sir. I say, sir, so very polite. And I will
Okay.
see if he would give me the trash.
Oh yeah, he hands it to you.
Perfect. I put it in my pocket until I find a trash can. I don't want a litter. And so I will walk back and find Sadie and Zidane. Even though I do not know Zidane, he introduced himself at the top of the episode. I say, hey, you two, there is a new job on the flyer, the board. Are you interested in having an adventure?
So when you approach Zidane, I am actively playing my Streets of Rage arcade game that I got a couple adventures ago. I still put my own money into it. I don't use free play for myself. As you talk to me, though, it causes me to lose basically my last point of health. And I don't want to put any more money into my own game, so I don't feel like unlocking it to get my coins back out and putting it in. So I will turn to look at you, and we're about eye level. I go, well, yes, clearly I have nothing else to do now, so I will partake in yet another grand adventure.
Hey, Sadie, what about you?
Sadie was hoping that nobody would notice her. She's looking nervously at the machine with its loud sounds and bright lights. And honestly, yeah, leaving this room with that machine, yes, that sounds wonderful. So she stops wringing her fingers, and she was biting her thumbnail like this. And she...
For the listener, she was biting her thumbnail. And she'd say like this.
Yeah. And she consciously puts her hands by her side, so she stops like wringing them, and is like, yes, let's go on an adventure.
Well, that is spectacular. Okay, I guess I should have brought the flyer over to you guys, but I am a big fan of consent, so I want to make sure you guys are in before we proceed. So I will go back to the yacht board, I will get the flyer, and I will bring it, and I will read it in the GM's voice.
So this is the flyer that Nilisag was putting on the board, correct? Not the one that is in your pocket?
That is correct. So if this one is garbage, I will pull out the one out of my pocket. Or maybe I pull it out also and say, look, we have a choice, but, it's up to you guys.
All right. So the two flyers. So the one that came off of the job board that Nilisag had just put up is a flyer from Professor Madeline Stark. And it's even signed by her, not on behalf of Spark Industries. The flyer, it's a help wanted ad, but there's something a little odd in the phrasing. Heroes sought to prevent a great injustice. A stolen book must be procured. Please inquire at Spark Industries. Madeline Spark.
Is that the one that got thrown out?
No, that is the one that came directly off the board that Nilisag had just put up.
So before we read the trash one, I will say, these look interesting. I mean, finding a book, that is not really my speed, but we can still do it if you want. But if you want to do something different, or maybe 2 quests in one day, I have a second flyer, and I pull it out, and then I will read it in the GM's voice.
Okay. There's a image of a man on this flyer. It's kind of a woodcut, but he looks quite handsome. He's elven, and it says Jessup Zadok, hero, adventurer, caravan guard for hire. Hire Nikomoy's champion gladiator for over 25 years to guard your caravan past the undead hordes. My presence is your guarantee of safety. And you see that in this woodcut, Jessup is brandishing a sword. Zidane, there's something familiar about both the image and the sword in hand.
So I'm going to be stroking my chin, looking at that, trying to figure out why that looks so familiar. Because it's not a thing he completely remembers. The face looks familiar, but I'm just having some trouble pinning that one. mean,
You're probably distracted from your game. Because I know, like, when you get really intense on something, it's hard to achieve focus, you know?
That's true. That's true. I mean, the book one sounds like an easy task, but my friend Kane, he dealt with the book once before, and it messed him up for life. I don't know if I want to run that same risk again. But, helping out, this is man, I kind of want to meet this person. Maybe he's an elf, so maybe he remembers who I was from before.
Would you like to recall lore?
Sure.
Normally in fantasy world, we don't call out the moves. Like, you just tell me what you're doing, but I want to make sure you remember that you have these moves available to you.
Yes. I appreciate that. I got my thing pulled up. I just rolled 2d6, right? That's pretty much all it is.
2d6 plus knowing, which is one of the stats on your character sheet.
Well, I have a -1 on knowing things.
Excellent.
I did roll a 9, so that's an 8 altogether.
Fantastic. So on a 7 to 9. So first, explain why you already know about this and what would be useful for you to know.
My guess would be why it seems so familiar is probably looking at the sword. There would probably be something that's like sparking some kind of memory. Like one of the locked away memories from the temporal stasis is trying to make its way out so I can actually finally remember something about my past.
Yeah, in fact, it's the blade. The blade has a unique pattern on it. And it takes you a moment, but you remember that pattern because your childhood memories weren't wiped. And you remember that pattern from your childhood. It was on your father's sword, wasn't it?
It was. I believe I know which flyer we're taking. We're taking the one you stole and put in your pocket.
What do you mean steal?
Not stole, I'm
offer
sorry.
it to you. Look, okay. I say I'm going to throw it away. I did not say when I was going to throw it away. And then I show it to you, and now you're accusing me of stealing? That is very dishonorable, and I would never do that.
Stole was the wrong word, my friend. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to say stole. Borrowed is the correct term to use.
Okay. I think that is better. Utilize or, saving people. Clearly, this is important to you. I don't know why. I just hear you say, yes, that's it. And can you tell me more about what this flyer means to you?
Well, I'm pretty sure that man knew my father in some capacity, and because that is my family's weapon that he is holding in this drawing.
Oh, an old family friend.
Maybe.
Yes.
So I'm very suspicious, just so you know. Like, if somebody has a family heirloom of yours, do not think that maybe they were their friend, maybe they were more like a competitor, or like they may have vanquished one of your ancestors and taken it as a prize. So I would be very wary, my friend.
The concern is noted and appreciated, but, my father died a long time ago. I was frozen for 200 years. I'm just a human. We don't live that long. So pretty good chance that he just happened to have acquired it some way. Since I was missing, he may have just acquired it in an estate sale or something like that.
Perhaps so. Maybe he is a relative of yours, too. We could find a long-lost family member.
Could be.
Or maybe he could find you. You are the long-lost family member.
Yes,
you were frozen
maybe.
for so long.
I was. That's true. Yes, let's go to this. Let's go find this Jessup Zadok, and let's go pay him a visit.
He's an elf, right? And you're a human?
Yep.
It's your cousin.
Yeah.
So, additionally, I would like to say, if this man, Mr. Jessup, if he is close to the Spark facility, Spark Industries, I would like to visit both. If it is in the same neighborhood, it may not be, but priority, like Zidane say, is Mr. Jessup.
Could we, this is just a thought, but could we hire this Zadok person to do the job for Professor Spark and subcontract and then take 20% for ourselves?
That's an excellent line of thinking.
I think Armando's mustache will twitch a little bit, which means he's very uncomfortable with this proposal, because it seems like he is taking the easy way out, and that is not his way. And I'll say, Sadie, we can ask, but I would prefer to do it myself to, it is an opportunity for all of us to increase our skills and our honor, not only for individually, but for the fire-breathing kittens as well.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. And she came from like this background of like stock trading and like, corporate exec, and that's how she was trained to do things, delegate. But this is a different world.
No, I mean, that is not a bad idea. We could also test this man's mettle to see how well he could do something like this, because these are some pretty bold claims on this flyer, I must say.
Yes, it is. I mean, especially because I was a gladiatorial champion, and I met my parallel version of myself who's also a gladiatorial champion, so clearly I still have the medal about it, so yes, this would be an excellent test.
Did that champion that you met in that other world tell you anything about what had happened to him?
He did. Admittedly, I didn't do some research before we started playing, but he did fill me in a little bit. But it's a parallel version of myself, so maybe this guy's nicer than the one from here.
Could be. All right. So the fire-breathing kittens head out to find Jessup. Nicomoy is undergoing a sort of a minor catastrophe right now. It's an active situation. There's a recent upsurge of mindless undead outside the gates of the city. And as a result, all travel in and out of the city is a little bit more controlled than usual. And so the caravans and traders that come into the city are forced into sort of a little camp area before they are allowed into the rest of the city to make sure that they're not, nobody's bitten or infected, to kind of control the spread of undeath in the city. In addition, and this is something that is not commonly known because most people don't have access to this kind of magic, but because this rise in undeath seems to have a magical origin, teleportation is tightly controlled as well, because they don't want this necromantic energy to travel through magical channels either.
Oh, but before we head out, I do have something for you all. Would you please accept this? It's sort of like a healing crystal, and she's gonna hand to one of you. You guys can pick. She's gonna hand 2,2,4 difluorophenyl 1,3-bis 1H 1,2,4 triazole 1-ol propanol to one of you.
Can I have the English version of that, please?
Fluconazole.
Okay. I actually know what that one is.
Yeah, it's an antifungal. And to the other one of you, she's going to hand 2-amino 9,2-hydroxyethoxymethyl 1H purine 6-one, which is acyclovir. That's an antiviral. And I'm spending 2 of my expedience points, and you both get advantage.
So on the next roll that you make, you will have advantage. Advantage in Fantasy World means that instead of rolling 2 6-sided dice and taking the result, you roll 3 and take the best 2. There is also something called disadvantage, where you roll 3 dice and take the worst 2.
I can give that to the enemies, or people who I don't like.
Or people you don't like. Or people who are doing something you don't want them to do. Or just because it's fun. All right.
So, Sadie, are these crystals like the ones from before where you have to lick them for them to be activated?
For you, if you start to get like a mouth sore, rub it on there. Or like shingles, Yeah, just give a good rub.
Oh, okay. Thank you, is what I mean to say. Thank you, Sadie. That is very kind of you. I will use this heartily.
And then,
Yes.
Zidane, if your feet itch, this crystal's good for that.
Well, I don't go walking around barefoot too many gym shower rooms these days, so I should be okay, but I appreciate the offer. I will hold this crystal dearly.
All right. And with that in mind, you head out towards the caravan camps, because that is where Jessup is supposedly basically hustling for work.
Is the camp anywhere near the Spark Industries? Or is it far away?
You know, that's a great question.
I pride myself on great questions. I just so you know.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn the question back on you. Do you want it to be?
No, I do not. I want it to be isolated because let's say we want to hire this man for this book reclamation job. I want us to have some space. So if we want to come up with a plan to maybe really throw obstacles at him to see how good this man is, we have time to do so. You know what I mean?
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you know where the Spark Industries is relative to the caravan camp?
So I know traditionally there is a map by the job flyer board, and so I would have looked at the map, and I would have for number one say you are here with the arrow for the guild hall, and then see where Spark Industry is related to that, and notice that opposite. It is in the opposite direction of the caravan.
Excellent. Please roll plus knowing.
So that is 2d6.
2d6. 3d6, you can take the best two because of the advantage from
That's right.
Sadie.
Okay. Hold on a second. I gotta...
And if you want your friend who has +2 knowing to help you on this, you could utilize your resources.
So my knowing is a -1. It is the lowest of all of my traits. So when you say I use my resources, do you mean like have somebody else roll for me? Or how does this work, do you think, Sadie?
I've been around for a really long time. Like, not around physically, like, but I read a lot of books. And I know where those places are. Do you want me to check them out?
I would be honored. I would be honored if you figure out this problem for me, because knowing is not my specialty.
Yeah, you guys, that's why I'm here. That's my only stat. So, you want me to, Jim, is it okay if I make this check? Recall Lord?
I actually want Armando to make this check.
Okay, no problem.
I really do.
Okay, so I roll a 4. Pardon me.
Was that with 3d6?
No. I'm listing the dice individually.
The dice themselves. Got it.
So a 4, a 3, another 4. So that is an 8 total with the advantage, but -1, so a 7.
So a 7. That's totally fine. On a 7 to 9, the world gives you useful but vague information, a clue. So in this case, it's going to be pretty easy because you're looking straight at the map. You generally know that the caravan camp is near the main gate, and you can see on the map that the Spark Industries is kind of off on the eastern section of the city, a little bit, not quite in like the tanning district, but pretty close, kind of in that, hey, these are heavy polluters area.
Yeah, right on the shore. Because you want to dump all that stuff in the water, from what I understand. So, yeah, it's going to be like this vague, it's like over there. That's kind of how I know the Spark Industries. But we are going to the caravan. That is the first thing we're going to do.
Correct. All right. And but yes, they're quite separate enough that you'll have time to talk with Jessup if that's what you decide to do before heading over there.
Thank you, Ian. And I share my ideas like we have been talking with my teammates, Zidane and Sadie. And so it's like, hey, this is what we can do if we have the time or the opportunity. Not to be dishonorable, but we need to test this man. He said he is so great, but let's see how great he really is, okay?
Yes, that sounds like an excellent plan.
All right. So the three of you head out towards the caravan camp. It's as Zidane mentioned, it's a bit of a brisk day today in Nicoboy. Describe for me what are the sights and sounds that you see as you're heading through the streets. Sadie, what catches your eye?
jewelry. She is in the market looking at necklace, amulets. There's a silver one with sapphires on it, and it costs like $1,200. And so she like buys that as you're going along.
And in fact, as you're purchasing it, you hear behind you a very smooth voice say, "Oh, that's lovely. Let me put it on you." And you turn and you see Hudson. You see Hudson. Gosh, what's his last name? Sorry, Hudson Steinhauser, who is also a elf. What type of elf are you?
Macritus.
Sorry, that word does not stick in my brain. You see Hudson Steinhauser, who is a Macritus elf, a friend of your family and your fiance.
Okay, eep first. Flinch second. Duck behind something. And then peek out from behind the thing. And then be like, Hudson, oh, well, this is for my mom, Gianna.
Of course. But is there anything here that you would like?
Her heartbeat is going too fast. She just hears the blood pounding in her ears. And she calms down. And then she can't calm down because this is definitely the guy she's going to marry. And then she's freaking out. And then she's like, what do I look like? And I'm sure he said something. And then she's like, sorry, I'm being rude. And then she like comes out from the thing that she was hiding behind. And she's like, I should introduce you to my friends. This is Zidane.
Hello, strange person that came out and attempted to put a necklace on my friend without introducing themselves properly first.
And this is Armando Constanza Bilanzo de Medici.
So during this whole interaction, my hand is on the grip of my sword, and it is almost all the way out. It is like partially out, like in case things are about to go down. And as Sadie is introducing me, I slowly put it back in the sheath and say, yes, I'm Armando. Who are you?
This is Hudson Steinhauser. My mama and papa, they picked him for my fiance. This is my OMI partner. This is Hudson.
You're in an arranged marriage?
Yeah, you see, Macritus elves, we live a very long time. And so it's good to have a partnership with someone who will last that long. And you can get to know people over that long a period of time as long as it's built on a mutual relationship of respect and trust. Love is what grows from that eventually.
I agree about the trust and respect portion. Love, I think, should be a part of that from the beginning if you can, but that is more of an attitude, I think, that you are very loving with the other person and you can have an expectation that they will love you back. And so my hand let go of the sword handle, right? And I am smiling. I say, it is a pleasure to meet you, Hudson. Sadie is a wonderful lady. You are a very lucky man.
He holds his hand out to you. And you notice, because both you and Zidane are warriors, you notice he's not armed. Like he's got like a utility knife in his belt, but that's it. But he holds his hand out to you.
I will take it and then I will shake it.
He shakes it warmly and he like brings his other hand and like closes your hand in both of his.
Oh,
and says it's an
classy.
honor to meet you.
My body is filled with warmth when he does that because I identify that as an honorable shake. He means it very much.
And he holds his hand out to Zidane.
I will grab it I will firmly grasp his hand and give it a very firm amount of pressure.
Are you trying to hurt him?
Not physically.
You're trying to intimidate him.
A little.
Okay. Is there something that you're trying to get him to do in this show of strength?
Basically just letting him know to not mess up.
Okay, that's fair. All right.
To keep the explicit tag off, to not screw up.
Okay. So he kind of winces when you crush his hand in yours, and he says, "Quite a grip. Absolutely what I would expect from the former champion of Nicomoy."
Oh yes, that's right. I was a champion. Yes.
A few
did you see
centuries
me
back,
fight
right?
back in the day?
I lost quite a bit of money on your fights,
Well, should have bet on me.
apparently. But I will say I did make a small fortune when you finally did lose.
Don't I remember losing? I just remember going into a catacomb and disappearing for 200 years.
Yes, well, you forfeited.
Oh, that makes sense.
And
Fair enough.
and that began the meteoric rise of oh goodness, what was his name?
Was it Jessup?
And he looks at you very startled. Yes, as a matter of fact, it was. How did you
knew it.
know?
I'm lucky that way.
Yes, I made a decent penny off of the Zadok championship for. I mean, he was champion for decades. It was quite something. But you disappeared. What happened to you?
I got frozen in time for 200 years, and eventually I was rescued by a man named Kane. He broke me out of the temporal stasis, and I lost a lot of my memories in the process, so...
And he just kind of blinks at you for a second and says, "Well, I think I may have lost that wager too."
Are you somehow manipulating the events of the life of my friend Zidane here?
I truthfully have not met him in person until just now.
In person. But you know him by reputation, right?
Yes, I've seen him fight. He's amazing.
Yeah, and you claim you lose a lot of money when he is winning so much, and yet you gain a small fortune when he loses? Conveniently?
Well, yes, that's how it works when you bet against somebody.
I understand how betting works. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm just concerned that you might be working behind the scenes, we'll say, to make sure my man Zidane loses and is stuck in a temporal, what do you say that was called?
Stasis. That's what Kane said it was.
A stasis.
You know, I understand how that may seem. To a dishonorable person, I think that sounds like a reasonable plot, but to be perfectly honest, I have enough money. I don't need to cheat to make money. I simply made a bad investment, watched that go down a little bit, made it back elsewhere.
So I'm going to allow the wonderful handshake you gave me earlier to carry this a little bit. I'm going to give you a chance. Are you saying that I am dishonorable because I'm coming up with this nefarious plot as if I am committing it?
No. Good heavens, no. Do you want to try to read him?
Yes, I would like to try to read him.
All right. So you're kind of observing him. And you've definitely been interacting with him to get more information. Roll plus your vigilant stat.
Okay. For the listener, my vigilant stat... Vigilant. I cannot say that very good. Is a 0. So I got a total of a 5.
Excellent.
Not
okay.
very good.
That's
Do
fine.
you want some more crystals after this?
So,
Well, I should have licked the crystal before I interacted. It's okay. Go ahead.
all right. So, here's the list of questions. You get to pick one, and the world will react. You may ask, is your character telling the truth? What is your character really feeling? What does your character intend to do? This is all about Hudson. What does your character wish I'd do? How could I get your character to, and then fill it in with something you want him to do?
I will say, what is Hudson intend to do? Because the past, we cannot change that. But we can try to see what is going to happen and change it if we need to.
Okay. So Hudson intends in the next day or so to stay in Nicomoy, possibly spend a little time with his sweetie, and conduct business. He has no further interest in Zidane. It was really a history, trip down memory lane.
Okay. I share that insight with my team, and then I apologize because I'm like, look, Sadie, I don't mean to insult your man. I'm a little on edge. I sometimes, in a survival instinct, assume the worst about people, and I'm trying to get better about that. That is why I joined the Fire Breathing Kittens in the first place. You two are fantastic. I'm hoping to have a more grounded and realistic perspective with the people that I meet. Sorry, Zidane, I'm also looking out for you.
Oh yeah, Sadie's like thinking to herself, oh, was I supposed to stand up for him? Because like that's not a thing she does. So she looks to Hudson, blushing like she kind of failed as his fiance. Like, oops, I was supposed to defend you. And she's like, yeah, that's right. Hudson wouldn't do anything bad.
And Hudson kind of looks at you and looks at your companions and says, you know, I think I better go and continue my business. It was lovely to see you, as always. And he takes your hand and kisses it gently. And then he says, Mr. Armando, Zidane, and he leaves.
Thank you for kissing my hand. That was a little weird, but I mean, you're welcome.
Just gonna leave that one.
You stole the joke from me, you jerk.
Sorry. You gotta be fast in this game. It's not like we are a lot of funny people.
So, what do you do next?
I would say we probably need to start. We need to start making our way to wherever this Jessup fellow is, so we can talk to him.
All right. So, you continue towards the caravan. Zidane, what is something that catches your eye as you are walking through the streets of Nicomoy? What do you notice?
Probably like clothing stores and things like that, because I do like buying clothes and buying like nicer looking clothing, have it modified to be a little bit more, maneuverable in, so I can move, because, if you wear an actual suit in real life, fighting in those is actually not that comfortable. But you have to have it modified to be loosened up a little bit. So that's pretty much what he would be looking at, different styles and cuts so you could get them modified later.
And what is it about everything that you see today that is just dissatisfying and not quite right?
Well, there's someone that apparently has an actual artifact, an heirloom of my past, and that's definitely the prevailing thought that's on his brain currently, kind of even superseding, buying his fineries and things like that.
Okay, excellent. Armando, as you're traveling through these streets, what do you pay special attention to?
For me, it is about the people I am observing around me. So, I grew up in a very emotionally abusive home. So as a result, I'm very good at picking up the body language and understanding when people are looking and they are not up to no good. Like I can kind of read people very well. And so I'm looking around to see if there is anybody with ill intent. And if I need to jump in and save somebody, I am ready. Like I have my swords, I have my friends, hopefully they will help me, but I am looking for danger constantly.
Okay.
So your vigilance is like 0.
Yeah.
I mean, mechanically, I'm not very good at it, but I am trying. And that is the most important thing. You try something you're not very good at, and then you can get better at it. Perhaps in the next iteration of this TTRPG, I will be excellent at vigilance.
So as you're looking around, and you're in the market area, because first of all, the market area, there's like multiple markets throughout Nicomoy, but also as you're looking around, the people of ill intent, like there's a very high amount of signal here. There's a lot of people with shady motivations and who are manipulating, because it's a market, right? So they're manipulating each other because it's a marketplace. There's also your regular assortment of pickpockets and shady folks who are sidling up to somebody and about to slip their hand into a pocket or belt pouch, and just as a matter of course, I assume that you kind of make yourself known when you see that.
If I'm seeing it, yes, because thievery is not something I would like to tolerate. And if I'm there, I might as well put a stop to it,
Mm-hmm. And most of the time that's sufficient. Like, you know, thieves don't want to be seen. That's the whole point. So, you know, all you have to do is just sort of sidle up and be observant, and they scamper off. But you start to realize that there's too many people to really do that with effectively in this area. But you do note, and this is sort of really, really, you just observe this. You do note that the pickpockets that you've noticed, they all have sort of the same general demographic. They're all about the same age. They're all youngish men. They're not like wearing a uniform, but if you put them all in a lineup, it'd be hard to point out which one was which. Do you want to know more?
Yes. Do I need to roll something, I imagine?
Well, tell me how would you...
A crystal fell out of my bag and rolled over to Armando.
Oh, it's
Please
not a
take it.
crystal. Yes, of course I will. Excuse me, Sadie. I couldn't help but find this crystal that miraculously did not chatter on the ground, and it rolled over to me. Do you mind if I employ this while I am attempting to size up the area around me?
Oh, that's 1,2,R,4,S,5,S, 4-azeto-5 hydroxymethyl oxalin tool 5-methylpyrimidine 2,4-dione. It'll serve you well.
That is my favorite hydroxymethyl.
And what is its meaning and purpose?
It's zidovidine, and it competes for incorporation into viral DNA to inhibit reverse transcriptase. It's a DNA synthesis chain terminator. It makes retrovirals not work so good.
It's an antiretroviral?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
That's what I assume.
It's so shiny. It's sort of like quartz. Isn't it pretty?
It's beautiful. It's spectacular.
Just out of curiosity, how does that help in his observation?
His blister was really hurting him, and now it's not.
Oh,
Okay.
so instead of like a piece of my mind focusing on the pain in my blister, like all of my mind is now focused on my environment.
Okay. All right. So Armando, how do you interact with how do you act to get more information? Not how do you interact, because that's
I prefer the direct approach. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in a very a silent fashion, I'm going to walk up to one of them and then pick him up by the back of the collar and slam him against the wall, and I'm going to shout so that his peers can hear me. It's like, you need to keep your hands to yourself. You understand me, everybody? And then while I'm holding him against the wall, I'm going to interrogate him a little bit about maybe if this is an organized attempt to employ the orphans of Nikamoy in a pickpocketing ring or something like that. I can find out.
okay. All right. So we've gone definitely from look around to a different move, because now you're employing violence to get him to talk, right?
Intimidation. I mean, it's like mild violence. It's not like
It's
my sword is not coming out. It's not serious.
It's threatening. You're threatening,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
It's aggressive negotiations.
Yeah, and what you want him to do is tell you the truth about this pickpocket gang that's operating here. Yeah.
Or if I'm making a lot of assumptions. Bear in mind, maybe this is just all independent contractors and they are competing against each other. That could be. But I want to find out if they all kind of have that same look, all kind of blending together so nobody can be maybe prosecuted or something like that. I want to know.
Yep. Okay. Roll plus intense. And you do have advantage on this because your blister is no longer hurting you.
That is so good. So my intense is a +1. And my roll is spectacular. It is a 6 and a 5. So I have a total of 12.
Excellent. All right. So.
Thank you, Sadie.
You're welcome.
So the young man that you've slammed up against the wall caves immediately and starts telling you about how they're a new gang. They're they basically they met in a bar. and realized that they all kind of looked similar, so they could probably blend in better. They don't have even a gang name yet or anything like that, and really, it's just petty theft. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Like, who walks through the streets of Nicomoy with their pockets open anyway? You know, these people are asking to be robbed. We're doing them a favor. In the future, they'll be more diligent and more careful.
My mustache is twitching like crazy because all I hear is rationalization about they're perpetrating evil. Nobody wants to be stolen from. And I will say that to him. Nobody wants to be stolen from. You want me to steal all your clothes off your back right now? Have you walk around the street naked? Is that what you want?
Well,
I'm before we continue and you answer this question, is this like an adult, like over 18 type guy?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. He's probably about 20.
Because I would feel very weird if I was threatening like a little boy to take all his clothes, you know?
Nope, we're not having violence against children in this game today, so no problem.
Perfect. Violence against adults, I am perfectly okay with. Okay, so I threaten. It's like, you want to be naked? Huh? Is that? Should I have you walk around? You don't have to worry about being stolen from because you will have nothing.
So Armando, and what he says, no, of course not. I mean, but I would trust that a man of honor like yourself would not leave somebody naked and helpless like that in the streets of Nicomoy.
Look, you forfeit your honor when you are stealing from people. You are the dishonorable one, and I am just meting out justice. I am the justice from the gods come to pay you a visit.
Oh, I see. So because I don't have honor, it's okay for you not to? All right. I see.
It is not dishonorable for me to enforce a justice.
Oh, okay.
I will sell your clothes and use the money to pay back the people you steal from. Well, and now everybody is fine. It's like you never steal. And everybody's happy, right? You have no clothes, you have nothing to steal. It's fine.
Good luck with that. I don't know. I don't even know if you'll find who everybody that we stole from, but that's okay. That's all right. That's fine. He starts like unbuttoning his shirt. He's like, that's fine. It's cool. I don't want to get killed.
No,
so, you know.
Hey, this was a threat. This was to get you to think. I don't want to see your naked body. This is, please. You will be coming with us. And so I'm going to
and when
take him off of the wall.
When he unbuttons his shirt, you see the necklace that Sadie bought.
I can't believe it. And then, so I'm pinning him against the wall, and I pick him up and turn him towards Sadie, still holding him in the air so his feet are dangling. I say, Sadie, look at this beautiful necklace. You recognize this necklace?
I check my pocket. Is it gone, or do I have a pair now?
No, it's gone.
Darn. That was for my mom.
I turn him to face me, like he's still in the air. My arm is getting tired, so I may switch into my other arm in a little bit. I'm more of a sword fighter, not a person picker-upper.
And he's scrawny. So I mean, he's like a, you know, he's not small, but he's thin, you know.
Okay. Well, you know, Zidane is a former gladiator. So I say, Zidane, can you hold this garbage for me? And I throw the man at Zidane, and Zidane has no problem. And say, and Zidane, could you please relieve this man of this stolen necklace?
Oh, absolutely. I will take the necklace off, expertly with one hand, and I'll hand it back to Sadie. And I'm like, what else do you want me to do with him?
You could put me down and let me go.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You could put me down and let me go.
That's true. I could put you down.
I would like to bear witness.
So here's how I'm going to put him down.
Wait, before you don't let him go. Okay, I want to bear witness, right? And so, like, in game, I think that's my character telling a police officer that, officer, this person that my friend is holding, he stole my necklace. I have a receipt right here, and I want to make a police report. And then in the mechanics, it's signs importance when you bear witness to an event you deem meaningful.
Excellent. Yes, go on.
Tell the world. That has a capital letter. I don't know that. I think that's the GM. Me. Tell the world how you see the event echoing in the concept or symbol of your deity, and if it's a good or a bad omen. I gain 1 XP, so I'm back up to 8. And the world will set or update an hourglass inspired by it. Hourglass has a capital H. So I just want to see more mechanics.
Cool. So
I think this is a good omen because my friend was vigilant and protected me, and my mom would not be getting this beautiful necklace without my friends.
And how does that tie into the concept and symbol of your deity?
My deity is Ayupak, and the idea of my deity is that work hours, right? Like, if you look at the labor force, when they're sick, they don't work as good, and when they're healed, they do their jobs better. So it's because Armando Contenzo Bilanza de Medici was able to be vigilant because they were cured that I have this necklace for my mom now. Without medicine, we'd just be less productive.
All right. Okay. So you you go and you find a guard. There.
This part might be Zidane. Sorry for interrupting you. You can take over this part.
Sam, as you scamper off to go find the guard after all that, he did say to put him down. He did not specify how to put him down. So what I would like to do, necklace is off of him. I don't want to kill him. It's just a kid. He's got time to turn himself around. But I do want to like aggressively put him down on the ground. Maybe in an attempt to knock him out a bit, and then just keep holding him down though.
Okay. Do you want to inflict some harm on him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Physical harm. Okay. All right. So that means you're using the brawl move. All right.
Yes.
So just so you're aware, that means that he can also cause some harm to you.
Okay.
All right. You will roll plus daring.
I got a 14.
Okay, great. So, you may choose two options from this list. You inflict terrible harm. You suffer little harm. You tag someone here as impressed, dismayed, or frightened. You take or keep hold of something, person, or position. You keep something, person, position safe and undamaged. You force your way into someone's position or guard. You force someone into a position of your choosing.
Well, I don't want to inflict terrible harm because that seems a little excessive for what's going on currently. I would like for him to be frightened.
Okay.
Even more so than he already is. I don't like the verbiage of force someone into a position of your choosing.
Well, I mean, that's essentially, you said you were going to put him on the ground.
Yeah, basically
forcefully.
just like got him still like by the back of the neck. And then I've also got like my knee on the back of him too to keep him really from going anywhere.
Yeah, that's essentially forcing him into a position of your choosing for sure. Yeah.
Depending
Armando?
on how you read the rules, you could like force him into middle management or something. Like that is a position.
Also true.
Here's your punishment. You're going to work a desk job now.
Fictionally, that doesn't quite work in this moment, but you could conceivably brawl somebody into that kind of role, I suppose. That would be creative, and I'd love to see the fiction behind it. But sure. All right. So, and he's squirming and everything as you're doing this. In the course of this, you tear his shirt, which was already like half off because he was unbuttoning it anyway. Kind of a tragedy because it's actually not that bad of a shirt, weirdly enough. He is frightened by you. You shove him onto the ground, and in his fear and with the tearing of the shirt and everything, and thank goodness Sadie already left. Because he's so afraid of you and the adrenaline gets to him and he loses control of his bladder, which gets on you.
Okay.
So
I'm glad I'm not holding him anymore.
Your temp harm is that you get to decide like how this is reflected, but he pees on you essentially.
I imagine the puddle comes out because I put him face down. So
yeah, like it gets on the cuffs of your pants and your boots and stuff. Yep. So in Fantasy World, you get to decide which of the temp harm checkboxes you're going to check for this. but it has to be narratively appropriate. And for the listeners at home, the temp harm checkboxes, these are like the conditions you can take when you take temp harm. You look and feel like a mess, bloody, bruised, torn up. You lose hold of something important you were carrying or wearing. You lose footing or end up in a problematic position. You are held by something that clutches, tangles, or impedes you. You are out cold, unconscious, or powerless until the world says otherwise.
Man, that last one would be a real extreme reaction to this.
I mean, if you are allergic to urine, maybe.
Yeah.
It wouldn't fit here because
No.
any condition you take has to follow the fiction. So the fiction here is that he wets himself and somehow that's going to cause you temp harm. Pick one and tell us how that happens.
I would just imagine that it's more than we thought it was going to be. So just my pant legs are a bit more soaked. So makes me I'm going to have to buy new pants basically after we get this guy to the police essentially.
Yeah,
You're
you
not
look
even
and
going to
feel like a
wash your
mess.
pants. You're going to have to buy new pants. That is how bad this urine is.
Yeah. I can't just watch this.
Look, in the clubhouse for his new gang, they stole a crate of asparagus. That's all they've been eating for a week. It's terrible. So yeah, you look and feel like a mess. That's what it sounds like. Yep. All right. Cool. All right. So, Sadie, when you come back, the thief is on the ground, kind of cowering. Zidane is standing over him, looking.
I'm angry.
The alley smells like urine for some reason. And Armando, what are you doing?
So, number one, I'm disgusted at this, the pee smell, the action of peeing on my friend. I feel a little bad he's in a puddle of his own pee. I've been in that case before. It is not fun. But I feel like he has no honor at all. So it is hard for me to have any kind of empathy for him. So what I like to do is discuss with my team how we can resolve this. Do we take him into like a town guard? Or is there like authorities in the market? I assume there's some kind of authority in the market because it is a place full of the dregs of society that need to be taken in or something like that. And we are freelance, but we have a job to do. We're trying to meet a guy, and this guy's in the way.
I brought one with me. I did indeed bring a town guard with me. And I've already filled out my witness testimony.
Yes. The town guard that you brought with you is probably the laziest town guard that you have encountered in Nikomoy. I mean, like, he's basically been just like not caring while the little pickpockets operate. But since you have apprehended one and you wanted to make a report, he took your report. He will apprehend this suspect. You can follow up at the constabulary later if you wish. And he says it like that, like whatever.
I'm going to do that. You know that handshake that I received earlier with the hand over the second hand? Mm-hmm. I'm going to do that to the town guard to maybe inspire him to do a little bit better in his job. I'm going to say, look, thank you so much for protecting this very dangerous place. They only must select like the best guy for this job. So thank you. And I shake his hand and say, sincerely from the Fire Breathing Kittens, we appreciate it.
So, you're acting to convince him to actually take his job seriously, right?
Yeah, well, like to inspire him. Like, no, everybody likes to hear they are doing a good job. So that's part of it. But also, like, please, have a little bit of honor. You're trying to enforce justice. And if you are not taking it seriously, it's not going to be serious.
All right. Okay. So go ahead and roll intense. Because I think you're swaying him to step it up and be better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not great. I roll, after adding my intense modifier, I roll a 6.
Okay. All right. So, world reaction. So he kind of looks at you and he says, yeah, all right. I'll take this guy in. Sure, no problem. You know what? In fact, while I'm at it, I'm gonna round up all of these guys. And so he grabs the guy really rough, like way rougher than Zidane even handled him, right? and starts just like hauling him along the pavement. He doesn't even let the guy stand up, so the guy's like scraping along the pavement, and he hauls him out into the marketplace, and he says, "All right," and he like lifts the guy up, and he's like, "All right, show me your friends," and he starts getting really rough with the guy. What do you do?
I sigh because that is not a good way to do this. And so I walk up to him and say, "Excuse me, officer, you need to comport yourself with more honor. I'm just going to say it. I will help you if you like. We are on kind of a time crunch and we have a mission, but do this better. He is still a human being and deserves respect even though he has no honor. Have him stand, treat him like a prisoner should be treated, and that is not terrible. It is, okay, he is caught, he will pay the price, but it is not right now. You allow the judges to comport his sentence, but treat him with dignity. That is your job." And like, I'm pointing, I like kind of tapping him in the shoulder. And I don't care if there's a consequence for that, but like that, he needs to do a little bit better.
Okay. So you're kind of tapping. He's kind of ignoring you at this point. Like he doesn't really care. Do you want to do anything to be a little bit more forceful with him?
Yes. If he is ignoring this is a step 1. If he ignores this, I have to move to step 2. So what I do is I separate him from the perpetrator. And so like I forcefully push the officer to the side and I grab the perpetrator so I have a firm grip on him and say, "Look, you obviously cannot do what you are supposed to be doing, so I will handle it. And you can charge it to the fire-breathing kittens. You can pay us money for doing your job." And so I say, "Excuse me, I know we made you pee yourself earlier. I'm sorry about that, but consider your life choices and be better." I mean, he needs to be better too. So it's not like everybody just needs to be better. What you should do,
all right,
is you should turn yourself in and you should turn your friends in. Serve a small sentence now instead of growing in your crime and suffering the consequences of more terrible crime and hurting your community. You could be leaders. You could be a leader in this community if you give yourself and your friends a chance. Don't settle for rationalized theft. That is despicable. You should know better.
So I'm gonna say that you're essentially you're swaying the thief, right? And I'm gonna say that especially because he was frightened earlier by Zidane, so he's already sort of susceptible to being influenced, and he just got beaten up a bit by being arrested, and he nods at you and he just says, "Just get me out of here." Because he's still being held by the cop.
Oh, no, I tried to separate him. Cop,
right, you're trying to separate him from the cop.
I'm trying to release that grip from the policeman. So the policeman to decide why I'm doing all this.
Okay.
Anyway, for the sake of narrative purposes and to facilitate this, I'm going to say I see another fire-breathing kitten in the crowd who is chopping for cabbages because they love cabbage for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I say, "Hey, take this guy to the courthouse, to the jail where he's supposed to go." And whoever this unnamed fire-breathing kitten is, they say, "You got it, Armando." And so they take him away, and now that is resolved.
In fact, the fire-breathing kitten that you call on says, comes over, picks up the guy by like both arms, and just kind of like just carries him as if he's like a sack of flour, because you picked out the fire-breathing kitten that is Nook, the 6.5 foot tall flesh golem.
Perfect. I'm glad that worked out.
Okay.
During all of this, Zidane has wandered off and he has bought new pants.
Yeah.
He just left while this is going on and got new trousers. You actually hear a door open up if you're shopping. You hear someone go, "I require new pantaloons, please."
All right. So Zidane, you fictionally solve the problem. The temp harm does not clear immediately, though. It will clear kind of in a little bit over time. But yeah, mostly because now you're just a little still embarrassed by this whole got peed on situation. All right. So with that in mind, yes, Sadie.
I have a question. On my character sheet, it says, spend 1 HP to reduce harm by 1 level. Deadly to serious, serious to temp, temp to no harm. My question about that is, it doesn't say who I can use that on.
Yourself.
Is that only myself?
Only yourself.
Okay.
That is, everybody in the party has 1 hardiness point. That's what HP stands for. And you can use it to reduce harm by 1 level.
Got it.
So if he had taken serious harm, he could have reduced it to a temp harm. He could reduce a temp harm to a 0 harm. Taking 1 temp harm that's fine. He'll be all right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll live.
He'll survive. It's okay.
Just curious. Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah. Okay, so you continue through the streets of Nicomoy and eventually come to the caravan camp. This area is crowded with travelers who are either coming into Nicomoy and are being inspected for potential contamination, or they're gathering up to leave Nicomoy, and they're ensuring that they have the supplies and personnel to be safe on their journeys.
Is Jessup Zadok here or Professor Madeline Spark?
You don't see Spark here, but you do see a kind of like an outdoor. It's a beer garden. We'll just call it that. It's a beer garden, right? So there's like some tables and benches and chairs and things, and a number of mercenary-looking men and women are gathered around their various species and races, kind of relaxing as they're waiting to be hired on for different jobs. You see that one of them in particular is an elf who is he's actually sitting on the back of a chair. So he's like elevated above everybody at his table, and he's regaling them with some sort of story from his past. He's gesturing wildly as he describes various wrestling maneuvers that he's engaged in. And yeah, it looks kind of like the guy from the woodcut.
I want to approach him.
So Zidane, you start coming over and like something like ice water goes down your back of just, you've been in danger before, and for you it's usually exhilarating. And right now there's this, you don't want to call it fear, but it's probably fear of this old memory of this person comes back to you.
Well, now I have even more reason to continue approaching him, so I'm
Great.
going to continue approaching.
Awesome. So you come up to the table, and he looks up, and he says, "Just a second," and he keeps telling his story as if you don't even matter. And his story ends, of course, with him winning the championship in the gladiator pits. And, you know, and he's like, and I believe that was the 5th year that I won. It's always hard to remember sometimes, isn't it, lads? And he like holds his tankard up and clanks tankards with them, and they all have a drink.
So as that happens, that's when I'm going to say, I know a few things. I know some stories about fighting in the gladiatorial pits. Many, many of them. It'd be great to swap some with you.
And he looks up and he says, "Oh, did you attempt to show your medal back in the day?"
I did. Several hundred years ago, though. And I was frozen in time for a little while. And, that's just kind of the way the world works sometimes. I believe, are you Jessup?
And he's sort of looking at you oddly. He's like, Zidane Carmichael.
Yes, that is me.
Lads, this guy. Oh, so he was good back in the day. And then he just didn't show up. Forfeited his matches from then on. It was wild. Whatever happened to you, Carmichael?
Well, as I just said, I was frozen in time for 200 years. I was recently broken out of a temporal stasis.
How odd. What'd you do to deserve that?
I have no idea. I remember the face of the person that did it to me. As a matter of fact, I actually do remember his name. I believe it was your father that did it to me.
Really? Really? Nah.
Yes.
Nah. That, you know what? You and I, let's talk. And
Also,
he drains his beer and sets the tankard down. What do you say?
I was going to say, and also, why do you have one of my family possessions with you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh. Anyway, I will pick up one of the half-drank alcohols at this point, I'm sure. And I will drink one of them. I'll set it back down, and then I'll pick up another one and drink that, and then set it back down as well.
So, so like, like he's got cronies or listeners or whatever you want to, and you just take it like out of one of their hands and just chug it down, and then take the other one and just chug it down.
Yep.
Okay. And do you feel like you are boldly showing off your prowess?
Yes.
Roll plus intense. And I believe this is your first roll, so you still have the antifungal advantage.
Okay.
Athlete's foot will bother you no more.
Gosh dang. You said intense, right?
Yeah.
And roll 3 dice and take the 2 highest.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why I said gosh dang. That's a 12.
Okay, great. All right. So all the witnesses around you are impressed. They're, like you're bold, and they're impressed by your boldness. One of them is terrified or fascinated, your choice, and it cannot be Jessup. He does not count as just as a bystander.
Then I would like for it to be whoever appears to be the most second in command crony.
Okay. All right. So the guy who is like literally sitting at his right hand, and is he terrified or is he fascinated? Fascinated. Excellent. All right. You may be getting a fanboy here in a minute. So as Jessup kind of comes down off of the chair and walks over to you, and he says, let's have a conversation about this thing with my father that you're claiming. Some pretty, I believe we can have this conversation right here. He kind of looks around and says, but I'd rather not.
This whole time, I'm just leaning against like a column, and I have ordered an espresso, and although it looks dainty, it's excellent. Like, this drink is perfect, and I'm drinking it, just observing what's happening, and I'm ready to pounce if the day needs me, but I'm just drinking the espresso.
Okay. So the things that are obvious around here, everybody in this beer garden is a skilled warrior of some kind. Even if they're, even if like they weren't a fighter quote class, they're still a skilled adventurer and capable of inflicting violence on others as needed. Do you want to know more?
I'm wrapped up in conversation right now, so I'm not paying attention to the outside surroundings. Yeah.
Zidane's not involved in that. But Armando, do you want to know more?
Sorry, were you asking me? I thought you were asking Zidane. Yes, I would love to know more.
You said you're observing everything. I'm calling that a look around. So yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
That is a look around. I think that is appropriate.
Okay. Tell me how you act to get extra information and what you're paying close attention to.
So I am paying attention to the dynamics of the beer garden. So there's always like people that are showing up to casually hook up or whatever. And then there are people that are there for just exchanging stories like this, like with Jessup. And I'm reading the body language of everybody to see who has, again, ill will or malcontent in the crowd. I want to see, especially as Zidane is talking to Jessup, who is getting uncomfortable in a bad way and they're about to do something stupid. And so I'm targeting, like, my job is to protect my team and bring honor to our guild, of course. But if there is somebody out there that is about to do something stupid with Zidane and he does not see it because he's focused on a conversation, that is where I jump in.
Okay. All right. Roll plus vigilant. And do you have the moves in front of you because you have the list of questions?
I'm afraid I only have an abbreviated
okay,
one. I do not have the common ones, but
okay.
So plus vigilant. So I got a 9.
A 9. Great. So you get to ask one question from this list. I'm going to read the list.
Okay.
Where's my best way out, in, or past? Who is the most vulnerable or threatening to me? Who's in control here and now? What has happened recently or is about to happen here? What is useful or valuable to me here? What here is not what it seems? What should I focus my attention on?
That is a tough set of questions because I kind of want to see what is the most dangerous, but also what should I focus my attention on? Because perhaps it is not even somebody in this small band of fans. It could be something that is like around this beer garden. So I would like to ask the last question. What should I be focusing on?
The silence is palpable. Yeah.
You should probably focus your attention on Zidane and the confrontation he's getting into, because he may very well be the most dangerous thing right now.
Okay. I think that is an appropriate insight. Thank you, universe. So I will casually, like in a confidently, but not in a dangerous way, walk up to Yesop and Zidane and say, Zidane, there is no need to escalate in a room full of drunken warriors. What we should do is have a conversation with Yesop in a place where, it can be a slowed down and still respectable,
I agree with that.
Yesop, do you agree with this as well?
Oh, absolutely.
I am not familiar with this a beer garden. So is there a location, like a room we can borrow for this conversation?
So the beer garden is like an open area, like it's got there's like a tent where they serve from, but it's pretty wide open. But he says, not so much, but I'll tell you what, I have an apartment here in town. Why don't you meet me there?
My mustache twitches a little bit because I don't like meeting in a place that is controlled by a potential opponent. I prefer a public location. So I say, I appreciate the offer, but let's just go to a corner of the beer garden. It is good that we do it right away, but without all the listening ears. So let's just find a private place away by a tree or something, and then we can conclude business.
He gestures to you to lead the way. Through this, he keeps looking over at Zidane like he's expecting Zidane to do something rash.
I will say, we are not here to ambush you. So if you want to bring like a friend or something for safety, that is fine. Because Zidane clearly has two friends. And I'm not here to brag, but we are pretty good. So pick somebody and we go to the tree.
He looks you up and down. He glances at Sadie a second time, kind of says, "What's up?" And then says, "I'm not concerned."
Hey, I know maybe books are a foreign concept to you because you are just like some dumb fighter or whatever, but you should not judge a book by a cover. And Sadie is spoken for, okay? She is engaged to a man with a great handshake.
And as he follows you and he says to Sadie, "Engaged isn't married, I'm just saying." Just very quietly under his breath.
Sadie is the color of a holly berry.
Yes.
I shrug and say, hey, it's true, you're not married yet, but, So we walk to the tree.
And he is an elf, so, like, there's that.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So you walk to, like, a nearby tree, and he just like exudes, this confidence and this entitlement in the world that is a little irritating, Yeah.
So personally, Armando sees that and he's like, that is a weakness. Like, he is so overconfident. Like, he will be defeated so easily, and then he will be crushed afterwards. Like, he will not be able to recover for some time. So I have no problem with his confidence, honestly. I'm laughing on the inside, but I do not want to project anything that would give him any more confidence.
So as you come to the tree and to have this conversation with Jessup, we are going to adjourn for our break. So This is the Fire Breathing Kittens podcast, and I'm here with...
Me, Zidane. I'm here. I'm about to get into a fight, probably. It's going to be a good time.
And...
You're going to have to say the name because I don't know what the hand gesture means.
Sadie.
Oh, hi.
And
It's funny because from my perspective, she was pointing at you. You were below her and she was pointing down. So anyway, hilarious.
Oh,
And
you're below her on my screen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it probably don't make sense to you. And me, Armando, we are going to have a conversation. It is going to be honorable. We're going to make sure we're not getting, we're not bringing shame to our group. But before we go to the break, we're going to do something a little different. Sometimes we read you like a review, and it is spectacular because this podcast is fantastic, right? But today, we're going to instruct you on how to construct a good review. We don't have one today, but hopefully by saying this, you are going to say, I'm inspired. I'm going to write a review, and they're going to read it on the podcast. And we will do so. But here is some pointers for you. So number one, you want to address us like, hey, dear FPK, or that is a short for Fire Breathing Kittens. It's like, hello. And then you say who you are if you want, like, my name is, and then insert your name here. And then you want to add the comment about what is inspiring about the podcast. So, for example, you say, I love the show, especially Armando Contenza Vilado de Medici. For example, it's just an example. You can say you like me, but you can say you like somebody else. It's fine. And then it's very important. You can add like a request. You say, for example, please do more episodes about unicorns because unicorns are strong and beautiful. I agree. They are fantastic. And you can add that. And maybe one of the EMs will incorporate that into the story. And then finally, this is important now. You tell us like how many stars you want to give us. You give us like 5 stars. That is the right number of stars. You can do less stars, but please show your work, as they say in the math class, and like justify why it's not 5 stars. Because it really is fantastic. And if you want to say, hey, that guy Armando talked too much, 3 stars. Fair. It's fair. So please submit a review, iTunes or like some other podcast provider, and we will read it on this podcast. So thank you. And back to you, GM.
thank you. And we will be back after the break.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Today's mid-episode shout-out is, quote, to all the parents like George and Suki who are tirelessly juggling work, family, and everything in between, your love and dedication are an inspiration. End quote. You can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com. Do you know someone who might enjoy Fire Breathing Kittens? Share it with them. And maybe share a paperback or hardcover adaptation of our adventure, which is available on Amazon, and we have audiobooks on Audible.
We are back with the Fire Breathing Kittens in our second half of this episode. We had left with Armando.
Oh, yes, I'm here. I have come back. We're walking to a tree.
And Zidane.
Zidane is joining Armando walking to the tree, very tense.
And Sadie.
I genuinely have really crazy fiance friend everything. Everyone around me, I'm watching the show. I'm like, oh, this is why I didn't leave the house.
And they're all heading towards this kind of the shade of a tree that's near a beer garden where a number of mercenaries are gathered. The mercenaries are gathered in the beer garden, not the tree. They're in the beer garden to pick up work from the caravans that are coming and going from Nicomoy, because they have singled out one of these mercenaries as Jessup Zadok, who is the son of the man that Zidane recognizes or remembers having potentially put him into his 200-year slumber. Jessup himself was a gladiator champion for many years and is something of a little bit of a local legend. So this little conversation may be enlightening for many people here. All right. So you lead Jessup over to the tree with some relative privacy. What do you do?
I will have taken off my wool overcoat at this point, and I have set it against, like got it like hooked on a tree branch just to kind of free my arms up just in case. Ready to go, basically.
Are you limbering up while you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So stretching, like...
Yep. I am preparing for the worst.
I see Zidane stretching, so I think that is not a bad idea. So, like, I go to the tree, and I put my hands against it, and I'm, like, stretching my hamstrings and my calves. So, footwork is very important, so I want to make sure my legs are also limber. And, that is what I'm doing.
Can I ask an out-of-character question? Who has advantage on their next roll and who doesn't?
I no longer do.
Nor do I. I have used 2 advantages. And thank you for that.
But actually, Armando, you do have some advantage here because you spent time observing earlier.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
So you do have advantage here should things come to a point where you need it.
That's fair. Thank you for the reminder.
And both of you take one from me as I perform a ritual of my religion, and I read the name of a crystal, and I give you each a rock. It is a shiny rock. It looks like a quartz crystal.
What is the name of it? Hold up. Part of her ritual is she's got to name it. So what's the name of the crystal?
At this point, I'm giving you RS-242 methylpropyl phenylpropanoic acid for one of you, and N4-hydroxyphenyl acetamide for the other one of you. And that is ibuprofen and paracetamol, because you're going to be needing it pretty soon.
Mm-hmm. I need that right now.
Acetaminophen for one, and ibuprofen for the other.
Alrighty. So Sadie hands out drugs. Let's face it. Let's just put it the way it is.
Healing crystals that actually work.
Drugs. Okay. Meanwhile, Jessup has basically taken up kind of a casual position, just sort of like leaning against the tree, watching as you stretch and you limber up and everything. He looks incredibly nonplussed. Like, he does not consider you a threat, or doesn't want you to know he considers you a threat. I don't know.
Well, once I'm done, stretching out, you can hear it's kind of like in that one Bruce Lee movie where he fought Chuck Norris. It's like you can hear like the bones, like, popping and stuff in his shoulders and everything. That's when he finally turns around. He still has the suit coat on. It's unbuttoned though, but he still has the coat itself actually on with the vest and everything. That's when he's going to turn to face Jessup, and his demeanor Zidane's demeanor is completely different now. Like, he's no longer speaking quite as bombastically as he was before. His timbre is much lower now. So he turns to look at Jessup and says, "So, did you put your father up to it, or did your father do it without your knowledge?"
I think maybe you should explain what you think my father did, or I did.
Well, what your father did, because I remember his face, and you look just like your father, led me to a cavern to rescue someone. I did not completely realize it was your father at the time. Led me to a cavern. Said someone was missing, someone was in danger, someone was in peril, something that he knew would get me going there. And led me to this empty cave and used some kind of magic. I think he had a scroll, so he can only do it the one time, I believe, or something like that. And froze me in place. And basically nothing happened for me. And then I was awoken when a sorcerer found me and broke me out of there. And that is where we are now.
Well, you're still alive after 200 years, which speaks to the truth of your tale. Are you quite sure that it was my father? I mean, is it possible that something else imprisoned you this way? Are you sure your memories are accurate?
I also talked to another version of myself from another universe who pretty much confirmed everything that I just said.
Are you calling him a liar?
version of yourself.
Yes.
Well, it's far-fetched, but I suppose it's possible.
Weirder things have happened.
I was there. I saw it. The alternate version of him. Mm-hmm. And he passed biometric security codes, so I know it was him.
Well, fair enough. So we'll take this at face value then. You saw my father's face. You have a third-party self-witness, I guess we could call it.
I think it is like a first-hand witness. This is with him telling himself.
Yes. It's a little convoluted.
Because it happened in that reality doesn't necessarily mean that it happened in this reality. I mean, the reason why they're different realities is because they're not the same. I don't know. I'm going to go look at this rock. La, la, la.
You know, the beautiful lady does have a point. Is it possible that what you remember as my father's face is actually a memory from your mirror self?
You were
So
the one.
all of a sudden, this gladiator is a philosopher also?
Oh, I'm very well learned. Thank you.
Oh, yes? It's
Yes.
learned. Miss, I'm well learned.
He just kind of looks at you and says, you know, hold up, GM question. Did he get your name? Did you give it to him?
Oh, I don't think... no. But I can introduce myself whenever you're ready.
Okay, well, since he did, okay, then we're gonna mute that part, right? Okay, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's about 9:50. You know, and he kind of turns to you, Armando, and he says, "Do you know? I don't think I got your name."
That's okay. I did not offer it initially. Because really, the concern seems to be between you and Zidane. So my name is Armando Contenda Villano de Medici. You may call me Armando.
Mr. Armando, I don't know you, but you seem like a man of education and taste. And here his eyes cut over to Zidane, like in contrast to. So
As it turns out, I was afforded some of the finer schools, but that is not my passion. I'm not into the academic pursuits. I'm more a man of action. I'm sure I can see that in yourself as well. You are a man of action as well. Education is important. Kids listening at home, please stay in school. But I think it is fair to say that we do not need to dance. This is not the case for men of action like you and me. Just be clear.
well, in that case, I just want to be clear that I am a man who is both a scholar and a swordsman. It's very important, I think, to be both.
I can see that.
Oh, so it explains why you could never win.
And yet, champion for 25 years. So,
Oh, looks like the standards have gone down since I was champion.
have they though? Have they really?
So I see this potentially spiraling out of control, and so I grab Zidane gently, and I say, Zidane, remember why you are here. You're here to find out about that sword. Let's find out about it. And then later, if he is maybe like a jerk or something, we will kick his butt. But let's focus on the mission at hand. And then I let go of his arm, and then we come back to the conversation.
So, it appears tensions are running very high. Obviously, you're not expecting to ever see me again. How did you come across that? I'm assuming he's wearing the sword with him. I'm assuming he brought it with him. How did you come across that?
Well, it's been in my family for a couple hundred years. I think my father acquired it in some shop somewhere.
So since I am assuming that, my memory came back, I can confirm it that it was indeed mine. Would I be able to make some kind of roll? There would have to be like something on it that would signify that it does indeed belong to me.
I mean,
by virtue of, yeah.
Like you recognize it 100%, right?
Yeah.
But do you want to declare a fact about it that would distinguish it as belonging to you, originally your father?
Yeah, that's what I just didn't know what I would need to roll to
recall
to do that
lore. Yeah.
Recall. So what is that? It probably requires knowing, I'm sure.
Oh, it does. It does. And this is, Sadie cannot help you with this. This is absolutely your knowledge from your past. Sorry, Sadie.
I can just give you advantage.
Yep.
Yep. So when I have advantage by this thing I meant to ask earlier, so it's the next roll I make has advantage, or I choose when I get the advantage?
It's your next.
It's you are blessed. Ooh, they gain an advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have to use it. Okay, so I don't want to use it on this.
Yeah, in some cases, the advantage is circumstantial. For example, Armando's advantage that he gets from observing is only when he acts on the knowledge of who he should focus his attention on, which was you.
Well, the dice gods are favoring me for the moment, though, at least. I got a 10, even with the -1.
All right, so what is it about this sword that is distinctive and clearly identifies it as belonging to the we'll just say the Carmichael family?
So the thing I would say, because I'm reading the recall lore thing right now, because it's useful in details, we could make this real useful and real easy. Basically, on the hilt of it itself, in not English, basically not like Arabic text or anything like that, or normal text, but it has my last name just on the hilt of the sword, in a different kind of script, but very easily understandable that it is indeed my weapon.
Okay, all right. So it clearly it's stamped on the hilt, carved into the wood of the hilt. And when you point that out and he says, "Oh, do you know I never really paid attention to that?"
Uh-huh. So by rights, that is mine. And you can just give that to me and I'll leave. You can remain gladiatorial champion. You can spread the information you want to. You can do whatever you like. Just give me that back and we'll part ways.
He kind of looks at you for a long moment and thinks about it. And he draws the sword and he says, "I am a man of action." And then he turns and he says, "But I'm also a man of honor." And he offers it to you hilt first. I
will grab the hilt.
Okay, roll against... No.
He's going to Kylo Ren me.
Curse. No, you take the hilt and Wind Song feels like home in your hand. Not the home that you've made here in Nicomoy, not your apartment. It feels like home, that place inside you that is at peace and belonging.
I let out a sigh of relief and then I start spinning it around.
Do you do flashy moves?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you show off your prowess?
Yes.
With your weapon? Boldly show off your prowess. Roll plus intense. Impress everybody.
That's what I'm trying to do. I got to pull my sheet back up. You said intense, right?
Yep.
That is a 9.
All right. So all witnesses are impressed. So everybody here is impressed with your swordplay.
Golf clap.
And someone is outraged or pleased.
Oh,
that's my choice. That's my choice.
Oh, okay.
So the lackey, the cohort that you had fascinated earlier, is now angered. He's outraged by this. Like how dare you not only disarm his pal, this guy that he looks up to, but also now you're showing off. And he's just giving you the evil eye. And I got to come up with a name for this guy.
I hope his nickname is Stink Eye.
Well, that's just like that private nickname that you have for him, for sure. Yeah.
That is how I remember him in my head.
Yeah.
But of course, he will introduce himself later, I'm sure.
I'm sure at some point he'll be important. But for now, he's a name. And all right. And in fact, he approaches this little group and he says, "Is everything all right here, Jessup? You just giving this guy your things?" And Jessup just kind of says, "It's fine. It's fine. It belongs to him anyway." But I will. I think I will need. Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. When I see the exchange, especially after I see the spectacular display that Zidane performed in front of us, I turn to Jessup and I say, I know the important connection of a sword and a warrior. And this was one of the more honorable things I have seen in some time. And I go to shake his hand, but it is not like where you grab hands to shake hands. It is where you grab the forearms, like a warrior handshake. That is what I do to him, like very firm, like
a brotherly handshake, kind of.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then I bow my head a little bit, like you are worthy of honor.
And Jessup nods and he says, "Thank you." And he looks over at Zidane. "I don't know what beef you have with my father. I would like to point out I'm long since no longer the champion that was over 100 years ago, but I'm going to go ask a few hard questions, you might say. If you learn anything, I'd be interested to know."
If I find anything, I will let you know, because as far as I can remember, my beef was not with you. You always tried real hard. Just couldn't quite ever best me back then. So I believe your father had beef with me.
You know, as a thought, we should find out sometime which of us truly is superior now.
Yeah, I can see that. But not right now. We have another mission we have to attend to. When we're done with that, yes, I will happily do the ending of Rocky 3 with you.
Well, I'm not sure what that means, but
I don't know either.
I will see you on the rocks then, perhaps.
Yes.
And he, with kind of a little bit of a flourish, he leaves, but not before he stops and says, "It was very nice to meet you," and kind of half bows to Sadie.
"Oh, thanks." She has no idea. She's just like, "Yep, all right, bye." Like, because she got the earlier one, she blushed, turned red as a tomato. This one, she's just like, "Oh yeah, people are polite."
Right? Yeah, that must be it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Okay, so he leaves to probably get a new sword. Let's face it, because he can't be a mercenary without some weapon. You know,
We're doing good business in town today.
Yeah.
The economy is booming.
yeah, which is great because prices are jacked up because it's hard to bring things in and out of Nicomoy right now.
So it looks like that got resolved a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Do you, and I pull out the flyer out of my back pocket again. I say, "Are you interested in finding the book for the Spark Industries?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Sadie?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's be on our way then. It is a beautiful... Be careful for pickpockets. There are quite a few.
But there is absolutely one less.
That is true, yes. Sadie, you have your necklace in a secure location?
She moves it from her pocket to around her neck.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So as you are walking through the streets of Nicomoy back towards Spark Industries, you see that the police presence here is has picked up, and they are in fact arresting several pickpockets as you're going through the streets.
I kind of like the idea of the identical twin pickpocket gang, because then one always is making an alibi for the other one and they can
Right.
never be arrested. So like I picture them all like getting plastic surgery and what was it? Their downtime activity. They had one just like chilling in their guild hangout, all looking the same, you know, "I like your facelift, bro." Yeah. You know, like,
Oh, and then every once in a while, they could all like change their look like together. And so they're like a different person the next year.
yeah. And they're probably using magic to do this because let's be real.
That sounds less expensive, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that was out of character. To Sparkworks?
So yeah, to Spark Industries. So you head that way, and you see that as you get closer, you're getting into kind of the grungy industrial part of town. It's smellier. This is where the things that people don't want to live next to have their factories and things. And Spark Industries it's a fairly clean looking building from the outside, but the yard around it looks like a scrap heap. It's just filled with hunks of various types of metal and half-finished creations and things like that. So it's kind of like a spare parts all over the place.
Well, I am intrigued to meet the normal, or our universe's version of Madeline Spark, just because I met the other one and she was batshit insane. So I am intrigued to see how this one fares.
I bet this one's hungry.
Odds are you're right, Sadie. There is a lot of junk everywhere. You notice this? Like a lot of half-made stuff everywhere?
I mean, that's understandable. I mean, this is where Nook came from, so...
That makes sense. I encountered that guy today, and he gave me the grief, to be honest. I mean, he's nice, but I don't want to face him in a dark alley,
Agreed.
Or regardless of illumination of the alley, I would not like to meet him there.
I think
But enough about that. Let's make our way into the reception desk, and perhaps we can inquire, hey, we show the flyer, we are here to help type of communication.
All right, so you head up to the front door, basically going through the front door, and there's no reception desk. This is when you enter. This has the look of a creepy Gothic castle interior. Big open foyer. There's a couple of staircases leading off into who knows where. Strange noises coming from both up the stairs and something that sounds sort of muffled clanking somewhere down below. What do you do?
There's no reception, right?
There's no desk or anything. No, there's no person here to greet you.
Oh, well, that's awkward. And the door's just unlocked?
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. I will try a technique I use in many large houses. I'm an expert at this. Are you ready? And so I turn away from my friends. I face my back to them, and I say, "Hey, is there a Madeline Spark here?"
From somewhere further into the interior, you hear a male voice call back, "A moment!"
You see? It works.
And a few minutes later, a very scruffy-looking man comes through. He's not super tall, and he says, how can I help you? He's wearing kind of a dirty, dark suit, very, not terribly put together.
He is in theme of the castle, or the interior, so that is fine. I mean, he's just trying to creep everybody out, but I am not afraid. I say, pardon me, sir, my name is Armando Contenza Villano de Medici. I am with the fire-breathing kittens. This is Sadie. This is Zidane.
Hello.
We were requested to come here, and I show him the flyer. I say, by Madeline Spark, and could you please inform her that we are here to help?
All right, this way. She's in the laboratory. She's always in the laboratory. And he starts leading you further into this creepy-looking goth castle. So he leads you past a kitchen area and down some narrow, dark stairs into a basement. Zidane, it's got that sort of, I'm being led into a cave feeling, right?
Cool.
And you come into a room where there's a woman. She's middle-aged, dark hair, somewhat slender, and she's wearing a white jacket, like a lab coat. And when you come in, she's coming out of a room, peeling off gloves that have something red on them. She says, "Oh, visitors. How can I help you? How can you help me?"
Well, as we told your assistant here, we are with the fire-breathing kittens, and you have requested us to complete a job for you. And I show her the flyer that had very vague language on it, I must say. So we're here to do some job to find something for you.
Yes. Oh, okay. So, Nightshade, thank you so much. Just go, you know what? Go clean up the lab And Nightshade just kind of stops for a moment and looks at the door, and he says, yes, okay. And you see he reluctantly goes into the lab. Not really sure what's in there, but he doesn't want to see it. Professor Spark leads you over to a little lunch counter. She's got a couple of chairs and a counter. So I'm being proactive. I want you to understand that I am being proactive here. All right? Let's be very clear. Okay.
Okay, so maybe we should start from the beginning. I understand you're saying you're being proactive. I have no idea what this job is about, except for we're trying to find a book and stop injustice, generally speaking.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. There's a great injustice that's going to happen, and I'm being proactive to prevent it. I want to be very clear that I am trying to prevent injustice. Okay, so there is a book. It is called The Consecration, Last Hope of Eternal Struggles. It is kept in the Atrios Academy, which, as you may know, or maybe don't know, is located somewhat in a maybe shadow demi-plane. Anyway, it's very hard to get to. You will not be able to walk to it under normal means or anything like that. And this book is not the kind of book that is kept in libraries so much as imprisoned. Do we understand how important and powerful this book is? Yes? Okay. This book has very useful and dangerous, I prefer to think of it as powerful, knowledge pertaining to the use and control of undead beings. Now,
before you continue, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So at the word undead, like my mustache twitches a little bit, my eyebrow goes up, but just the left one. And then I turn to Sadie and I turn to Zidane and I say, hey, are we not having a giant undead problem all through Nikamoy right now?
Yeah, that's a problem that's going on right now.
Yep.
Okay, but this is an aside, so like we're whispering, but like, hey, isn't it? And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
And so, yes, continue, please, Professor Spark.
Of course. So now I want to be, again, proactive here, preventing injustice. Yes? We understand? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Injustice against whom?
Me!
Like, who is-
Against me! Because you see, I did not steal this book. I want this to be very clear. I did not steal this book, and I don't even know who stole it. Because if I did, I would probably go and try to take it from them, because this book is so incredibly useful information, which I have not been able to access since the Academy threw me out. But anyway, because this book has been stolen from the Academy, now this very powerful, potentially dangerous book is out in the wild there somewhere. How do I put this? There is a almost 100% chance that the Academy is going to believe that I am the one responsible. And I want to be very clear, I am not. This is why I am looking for someone like the fire-breathing kittens, yourselves, to find the book so that it can be returned to its proper owners. Perhaps I could look at it beforehand, but either way, I do not want the Academy to come here and, mete out what they consider justice, which is completely unjust.
That makes sense.
Understood.
You see, they're targeting me. They have always targeted me because they know how smart I am. They know that with this knowledge, I would be able to deal with this undead threat that we've been encountering. And, they, for various reasons, don't want that. So I pose a threat to them with my intellect and my unique ways of handling problems.
Okay, you're speaking in coded language that I recognize right away. So you're trying to deflect blame from yourself because you are obviously doing something that somebody does not like. You are kicked out of an academy, which I believe is reputable, and you are implying that you have done something to deserve this kicking out, although you are defending yourself. You're being very defensive about it. And you are trying to seek this power without being overt about it. Like you want this book to do something, but you are not being very clear. And you say, of course, you can solve this undead problem, but you are not saying how or why or with what tools or what you are even doing in this creepy office building. Like, I have so many questions and I'm very uncomfortable helping you, but I do want to make things right with the world. And so I'll take a breath, number one, and slow down because I need to practice a self-mastery.
And then Sadie puts a hand on your shoulder, which is the most physical contact she's done ever. And she's like, Armando, everybody's going through their own battles. And it sounds like this Professor Spark's trying to get the book back to where it needs to be, Atreus Academy. Is that right, Professor Spark?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't want it to be out in the wild. I think
Do you catch that,
I
Sadie?
am sure that if I had it, I would be able to solve the undead problem. But if I can't have it, the safest place would be the academy.
That sounds right to me.
I hate to admit that.
That is a lot of pregnant pauses. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like she's telling us very clearly because she's being so honest with us and everything. She's like, well, pregnant pause right here. I will tell you something vague. I don't trust it.
Well, it can be a bit embarrassing to talk about your history. And it sounds like Professor Spark is overcoming that to reach out to us. And I think that that's wonderful. And she she's trying to see the good in Professor Spark, and she's like not going to physically reach out and touch Professor Spark. I think she's done touching people for a long time.
Sure, yes.
But like a normal person would double handshake you right now.
Well, thank you.
I'm willing to trust you, Sadie. And so I appreciate your perspective. So, Professor Spark, I'm sorry. I did not mean to be so accusatory. I'm very cautious by nature, and experience. Please tell us how we can find this book, if you have any clues, and then we will go from there.
So, and it's fine. People are suspicious of me all the time. By the way, the rent is cheap. Anyway, it's cheap. It was apparently this building was built on a cemetery. It works well for me, but other people maybe not so much. So from what I know, the book was stolen a couple of weeks ago from the academy, and she looks at each of you very, very intently. I need you to make a promise for me that you will not reveal this information to anyone, anywhere, ever, ever.
Oh, that's a really long time for me. Can I just leave the room?
Yes, you may just leave the room.
Thanks. She's very careful about her future because it's a long one.
Understandable.
And as you're leaving, first she says, "Oh, not that door, the other one."
Okay.
And do I have your promises?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know you very well. And to promise something to somebody who could be very dishonorable, that is tying yourself to a corpse. It is just, why would you do that?
What's wrong with corpses?
I do not want to be fettered that way. However, I will make a counter-proposal to you. You be clear with me, even if it is something that you consider to be disreputable or something that you might be embarrassed about, and I will, on my honor, not spread rumors about you. We will solve this in the most honorable way, and that is as much as I can promise you.
Well,
Like,
if I preface this with, this is not something I have done, it is a secret that I'm not supposed to share, and I am only sharing it with you because I think it is relevant to your investigation. It is not about me.
I can understand. Then yes, I will honor your secret. We will be... Yes, I can do that.
Okay. Atreus Academy can only be reached through teleportation. However, when you go into it, to leave, you cannot use the same method or portal to get back out. And so whoever went there, however they're getting back, has to be different from how they got there. Somebody teleported into Atreus Academy, which is itself an astounding feat, and I have no idea how they did it, and I would love to talk to them about it. But that's beside the point. And they stole this book. They stole the Consecration, Last Hope of Eternal Struggles, and whoever they're supposed to sell it to, or they're planning to use it, they haven't yet. I suspect, I suspect that they have been hindered by Nikomoy's lockdown. We can bring your friend in now if you wish. I think that information was relevant, but you won't need to.
Very good. Sadie, we are now part of a bond. Not you, of course, but me and Zidane and the professor. And we will try to help the investigation without revealing the secret. I hope you do not mind, but I don't want you to risk your very long future.
Thanks. It's hard for long-lived races.
I can only imagine, but we should talk sometime. I'd love to investigate the longevity of your species.
Oh, it's pretty well known. We age a lot slower than you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
When Spark says that, Zidane strategically places himself in between the two of them, between Sadie and Professor Spark. She's less crazy than the one he met, but she's still pretty crazy.
Oh,
Yes, and
well, I can explain anytime to you. It's basically there's a methylation clock on your chromosomes, and our methylation accumulates slower.
does that apply to decay after death?
No, actually, the mRNA expression after death is really elevated for both elves and humans for like the first 24 hours, and then she can talk to you all day because she has the knowledge roll.
All right, so you nerd out with her for a minute.
Oh, she's naive, and if Zidane doesn't stop her, yeah, she'll get herself cut up by a mad scientist.
We are going to take our leave of you now, Professor Spark. The two of you should never be alone together in a room anywhere ever. So let's leave and go figure this out.
All right.
You know, Sadie, you could probably have a pen pal relationship with this professor, but let's just keep it to that, because they're decent with the mail.
Slow nodding from Zidane. Sadie, we should definitely talk more about the biochemical properties of your species. She's got this look on her face that could best be described as hunger.
It's a ravenous appetite. I've seen that look before, and you do not want to be anywhere near that, let me tell you.
Nope.
All right.
Sadie trusts her friends.
That's good.
So, Zidane, as a co-holder of the secret, I am flummoxed how to get to Atrios Academy. Is the thief in this world or at the academy? I could not quite follow.
Can I do a recall lore roll? I haven't rolled yet this game, I don't think.
Sure. So, are you wondering if or declaring that you know something about this world?
Oh man, first I'm gonna ritual. Okay, so I take out a big old crystal, right? It looks like, what are they called? Herkimer diamonds, where they're double pointed, double terminated. And
yes.
I read the name of the crystal, and the crystal is 2,2-chlorophenyl, 2-methylamino, cyclohexane-1-one. And I take a little nap. That's ketamine, and I'm napping.
You can't actually give your advantage to someone, to yourself. You know that. You can't get your ritual doesn't give you advantage to yourself.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody else want it? No way. Okay. If you're in front of others, you also pick one. Okay. If you
can spend
to make
2
them
XP.
feel blessed. I see.
Just as a basic thing, you can spend 2 XP before the roll to gain advantage, if that's what you want to do.
Oh, I see that. Yes, spend 2 XPs before a roll to gain advantage. You can do it more than once. I'll do it. I go down to 4.
Okay.
All right. And I'm in a trance because I did that to myself before I knew that I would.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's if I just wanted to do ketamine for ketamine's sake, that's cool.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
So then I roll knowing.
Listener, do not do ketamine for ketamine's sake. I feel an imperative to tell you that.
Yeah, kids at home, don't do drugs. Okay.
Kids at home, don't listen to Fire Breathing Kittens. This is an adults only podcast.
Also,
I think I joked about fentanyl the other day.
Yeah,
don't do that. Don't do those things.
I don't know how to tell it to you, Sadie, but when you tell a child that this is an adult only podcast, you are just inviting more children
Yeah.
to listen to the podcast.
It's true.
Oh, well, stop that. All right. So
There we go. That is settled. Very good.
okay, can we put like an age? No, because people will trick it. Okay, but
I know how to get kids not to watch. Become popular.
we're really
with their,
old and boring.
No, become popular with their
Oh, that's
parents.
right.
If they're
Yeah.
hey kids, your parents love us.
Unironically, we need to start using their slang. Turn
Yes.
it against the children.
I'm gonna roll this lit dice here.
Yes.
I'm gonna yeet it at the table. It'll go skibbity across the table. Bro.
So, bro, what'd you get,
That
bro?
is perfect.
Advantage. I get advantage. No, I don't. Throw that dice away. Okay, I have.
Well, wait. But before we get there, what is useful for you to know in this situation? What is it that you're declaring here?
I want to know how to get to Atrios Academy.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
All right, and I have 2 dice. I don't have advantage, so I got a 4, a 2, and then I have a +2 in knowing, so that's 8. And
you
it
didn't
says
you didn't spend
8.
the 2 XP to get the
Yeah,
advantage.
I did get advantage. Okay.
Okay.
That's another 1.
Okay. Cool.
So
So,
I'm at 9. The world gives you useful but vague info, a clue, or a lead to where to get the info.
okay. So it's well known that Atrios Academy is not really in a particular place, but there may be some ties to the Feywild involved.
As an elf, Sadie is not pleased with that.
That's what I got for you. It's useful but vague.
You know what we could do is we could reverse engineer this situation. So our world has zombies, and their world is where we're going to take the book to. So why are we solving problem at the end of the road when we should solve problem right at the beginning? You know, work our way from the zombies to where the book is now, and then once we've got the book, figure out where to take it after that.
I think that is okay. Yeah, I would prefer that. And I am up for slaughtering countless zombies.
Yes, I am itching to fight something that
Now you have
isn't
your
a
thought back and
giant.
everything. That is very exciting.
I want to fight something that's not a giant crab.
Okay, so let's fight some zombies. I don't know how itching you are, so I give you a little bit of this antifungal again. That is 2-2 for difluorophenol 1,3 bis 1H 1,2 for triazole 1-ol propin 2-ol. So take some antifungal because you're itching too much, and let's go get him.
So by this time, I have a 4 crystal from Sadie. And now when I walk, there is a slight tinkling because of the crystals. Now I'm a person.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So you kind of you like jangle when you walk. Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So so the 3 of you head for the main the gate, the main road, right? Is there anywhere in particular you are trying to go to? Are you just trying to get to the zombie horde? Is that the idea?
Yeah, they got to be coming from a geographical epicenter, right?
Perhaps we should inquire with the caravans that were at the beer garden or wherever they were, the caravan camp, because I'm sure as they are traveling and traversing all over the country, they are probably aware more of the concentrations of zombies in the world. And so we can, like, I don't know, triangulate or whatever geometric shape we choose to use to find the source of the zombies.
Okay. So you go back to the caravan camp and start kind of asking a few questions here and there and asking people, you know, like where have you encountered them? What kinds of, you know, is there, like, can you show me on the map, right? You know, that kind of thing, right? And what you learn, I'm not going to make you roll for this. What you learn is that the zombies seem to be concentrated, if they're concentrated at all, near settlements, because that's where there's graveyards, right? And a lot of them seem to be, they're not like recently dead. There's a few that are, you know, recently, just because that's how math works. But it's not like there's a, you know, like there was a killing field and they all rose up. It's more like there's something that has awakened the otherwise restful dead in the area around Nicomoy, and it's geographically speaking, it's almost like just kind of the area that's around Nicomoy for about 2 days worth of ride out of town.
So Nicomoy is the epicenter.
But inside Nicomoy, this hasn't been a problem.
Well, they are keeping the zombies at bay. Maybe if they were allowed in, not that I'm saying we should allow the zombies in, they would be finding the source, like they are being drawn to something, right? And so, you know how we held up the pickpocket earlier? Maybe we could find a zombie and like hold him and follow where the zombie wants to take us, like a compass.
I like this idea.
It's risky, mind you. Or we could ride to the 3 days. We could explore ourselves. This book could be anywhere. Would the zombies be looking for the book too?
It's a zombie dowsing rod.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. It's like, is the book over to the right? No, it's to the left.
Oh, we really just have to put a muzzle on it, right?
Yeah.
And then like tie its hands together behind its back and then see where it stumbles.
Yeah, that is an unorthodox way to do this, but I am for it because modern problems require creative solutions.
This is going to be an interesting thing that we're about to go do. So I am, for one, looking forward to it.
Okay.
Oh, 1 second. I'll bankroll this. And she stops by a muzzle shop and buys a muzzle for a human. Here you go.
I feel like that's a bespoke item.
That is,
No.
yeah, that's going to be expensive. Very custom made, I hope, thing, not mass manufactured.
I mean, she spent $1,200 on a necklace. She can spend $200 on a leather muzzle. Not ask questions.
I think my point here is that I think you have to go to a specialty shop for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, are you saying she doesn't know the specialty shop?
She seems a little naive for that kind of specialty shop, is what I'm saying, for a muzzle for a human.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't know.
I mean, you can buy a ball anywhere.
All right, here's $1,200. I had this on me. You guys, we're going to buy what we need, and we'll meet back here. She's bankrolling it, even if she doesn't know where to buy it.
Fortunately, I happen to know where you can purchase muzzles for humans, so I will go ahead.
That is like a gladiator thing, right? So you don't bite each other in the arena or something?
Not quite.
That is what I would picture in my mind that you pursue this purchase.
Oh, and can you get some comfortable handcuffs for the zombie?
They're dead. I don't believe they care. They're all messed up.
But their hand falls off. It's not going to work, so it has to be comfy.
Oh.
Could we remove their hands or arms or something? Or is that, like, I could take care of that part if...
Yeah, I can too.
Oh my gosh,
two
don't
swords.
chop their arms off.
Well, what do they need the arm for? They're dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
Okay, all right. Well then, we need some muzzle. Great.
All right, I'm gonna go buy ourselves a muzzle.
Can't have the zombie biting people. Have you guys seen Shaun of the Dead at the very end?
Yes.
When they have the like video game playing? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Zidane.
Oh, yes.
Roll intense for restock. You are gathering this particular supply.
Oh, the dice gods have abandoned me. 6.
Nice.
Wait,
Okay.
you have advantage.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. 9, 10.
Okay. It's best 2, not cumulative, right?
Right. That's
Okay.
why I said. That's why I went 9. Then I added my 1
Check.
from intense.
Got it. Okay. All right. So, add a curious detail to your to the area of Nicomoy that you go into to find the muzzle for a person.
Oh, Zidane's into some weird stuff. That's why he knows where to go. Yeah, like you got to go through a couple of alleys to get there. It's not quite red light district, but it's at the end. It's one of those ones like where it has a door that you open up, but you have to like go down the stairs to actually get to the store to make your purchases. As a matter of fact, he specifically remembers this one place from unknowingly from before he was married. There's an old portrait of him on the wall from his frequent flyer miles that he used to have here.
200 years later? How much money did you spend?
This guy is a legend.
And is that the shop you go to?
Yes.
Okay, and when you go in and you are making your purchase, the proprietor, who is a succubus, she's not like tarted out or anything. This is the shop she owns. And she says, Zidane Carmichael, what? I live and breathe. I haven't seen you in forever. Oh my God. What has it been? Like 200 years?
Give or take.
No. It's even longer. It was 210 or something. Because you got married.
I got what?
Yes. I remember. What was her? I don't remember her name. But oh my goodness. I haven't seen you since then. So I guess things didn't quite work out for you and the missus.
I wasn't where I was married. I was frozen for a couple hundred years. That's holy shit.
And she comes around from the other side of the counter, and she like gives you a big hug, and she's like, "Do you know we still have your special?"
Great. Zidane's whole world just got shattered into like a million little pieces. I don't need my special. I just need a muzzle to put on a zombie. Not for me.
I don't judge. You know that. That's why you kept coming here. It's fine. All right. Let's see. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. And she like heads to the back room to procure something for you.
Zidane just collapses on a suggestively shaped chair, and it's just like, I was married? What?
So she comes back out.
Where he is.
Yeah, she comes back out carrying like a little box, and she says, "In your favorite color." And she hands it to you, and says, "That'll be 200."
I give her the money.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's a delight to see you again. I can't wait. I'm so glad you're back in town. Do stop by again.
Uh-huh. He's just going to turn around and just leave. And just as soon as he gets back out, just kind of hands the bag to Armando and says, "Here we go. Time's a going. We need to go catch a zombie."
All right. I am ready whenever you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Excellent. Sadie, are you ready?
Out of character, I'm just confused why things would slow down when you got married. Wouldn't they pick up? Because anyway, but continue.
Maybe she wasn't into that.
That's why I get married to that person.
Yeah, well, because you have compatible ideas, and your parents said you should get married to that person, I guess.
Oh, yeah, or Sadie's screwed, but or not screwed.
Could be like an arranged marriage or something like that, right, Sadie?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or what he could have, or he just didn't need to go to a dungeon anymore because he go to home now, so it didn't matter.
Yeah,
true. Maybe she had everything. Yeah.
Anyway,
well, it could be like a Coke Pepsi thing, You're like, my wife likes Coke, so we go to a restaurant with Coke instead of Pepsi. I mean, metaphorically speaking, there is no Coke or Pepsi in this universe, but it's just an example to connect the listener to what you're talking about. Okay, let's go find a zombie. I say we go through the gate. I'm sure we have to talk to like a guard or something to let us through. And we will tell him our plan, which I'm sure he will be very impressed by.
Is this the same dude from earlier?
No, he's busy rounding up petty thieves, right? So the guard at the gate, it's fine if you want to leave, but he does give you information about, when you return, if you return, just so you're aware, there is a mandatory inspection and quarantine. We are trying to prevent the incursion of undead within the city, so we will be inspecting both your person, and he like gestures to your body, as well as anything that you bring back. All right.
That's fine.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So he doesn't say it explicitly, but it seems to be implied that bringing a zombie back into Nikomoy is probably the thing that they're inspecting for. So you may want to consider that part of your plan.
Oh, like don't mention that part of the plan?
We can just throw it over the wall.
I mean, it's a tall wall, but...
Zidane
We just come
Zidane
in
is-
through not the gate next time.
I think it would be better if they were prepared for what we are trying to do. Because if we like all of a sudden show up, hey, look, we got a zombie on a leash or something like that, people are going to freak out.
All right, you get
I
permission.
think it's the right thing to do. We don't need to be sneaky. If they don't like what we are doing, we will convince them that what we are doing is right.
Okay, all right. So in character, Sadie will be like, "We are fire-breathing kittens, and we're going to solve the zombie problem, and we're going to need to bring one muzzled zombie back in town to do it. So you guys get that paperwork started, because we're going to go do it. Bye!" And she runs away.
I will continue the proposal. I'll say, the reason we are doing this is not like for kicks, okay? It is to find the source of the problem to end this undead epidemic. And so what we're trying to do is solve the big problem, but it's a little risky. I can hope you can see what we're doing is not orthodox, but it is required to find the source. You see what I mean?
If you come back with a zombie, I'm gonna take this down.
You mean when, right? Because we're going to be successful.
Oh, mechanically, you know that thing I gave you earlier? I can spend 0 XP to give you advantage to sway or threaten. So I do that. You specifically have an advantage that you can use on sway or threaten.
Okay, let's see if it comes to that. GM, what were you going to say?
So he says, I'll make note of this, and if you come back with a zombie muzzled, will you understand? I don't have the authority to let you in with a zombie, but I will bring it up to my commander and see if that would be allowed.
I mean, if you don't want to solve the problem of the undead and you have to... Do you like working at this gate day in and day out? Don't you wish you could be like fishing or something? Or shopping for groceries or jewelry for your wife or something? Or if you do not have a wife, maybe going to a play?
So,
But here or here because of the undead.
So you're trying to convince him to give you a permit or something to bring a zombie in?
Yes, not just a permit, but to like endorse this plan with his superiors so it can be fast-tracked or it can be approved. I want to do it the right way, but I want them to understand the criticality of what we're trying to accomplish.
Okay. Go ahead and roll plus intense for your sway here. Because he's...
With advantage.
Yeah,
Because he's not
this is
convinced.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys glad I'm here and can't help you in combat in any way?
Let me tell you, my roll was a really crappy until you gave me advantage, and so now it is wonderful. So, you say plus intense, is that correct?
Intense, yeah.
Okay, I got an 11.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
That's all I'm asking for.
All right. So the three of you go out through the gates of Nicomoy onto the open road. You don't see any zombies when you step out the gate because, I mean, this is a localized problem that is, there's like clusters here and there. It's, thankfully it's not giant horde surrounding the city.
I look at my partners and say, we should have brought a horse or something, like a carriage or something. Now we're walking, which is okay, but...
Horse would have been a liability. It's better just to walk.
Oh, that's right. We don't want no zombie horse.
I would have felt really bad if the horse got eaten.
I've seen that happen once. It's not pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's delicious and everything, but yeah, we should focus on the task at hand.
All right. So I'm going to speed things up a little bit here.
There's a journey thing, right?
Yeah, there is. Let's use it.
Oh, no, it's way too long.
Well, it's a long...
I like the fast travel.
It's a long journey. And I don't feel like you guys are going on a long journey here. Do you?
No.
You're like
we might
the
just
first
step for it.
Yeah, the first group of zombies you find is the right group, right? So
yeah.
So I'm going to say that it takes you like half a day, and you encounter a group of zombies, of like, shambling Walking Dead. So, the rules in Fantasy World for fighting a group do not favor the individuals who are fighting a group. And PCs are always considered individuals. You are never considered a group. So,
Have they noticed us yet?
I mean, they're zombies, so they're not super alert, but they smell and they hear pretty well.
Okay. All right.
Do you want
Out of
them?
character suggestion, I'm going to climb a tree. So I'm not going to be able to help you guys. And I'm not going to be able to do anything to influence your battle except for throw crystals at you occasionally. Approximately 3 crystals. But you also could climb a tree because you can just kick zombies down if they try to climb up, beneath you. And then if the one that doesn't splat, we keep that one. So anyway, I'll be up a tree. You guys handle this however you want. Goodbye. I throw a crystal at Zidane. It's an antibiotic. You're going to need it.
What is the name of it?
2R, 3S, 4R, 5R, 8R, 10R, 11R, 12S, 13S, 14R, 11, bracket, 2S, 3R, 4S, 6R, 4-dimethylamino, 3-hydroxy, 6-methyloxantol, end bracket, oxy-2-ethyl, 3,4-10, trihydroxy, 13, another bracket, 2R, 4R, 5S, 6S, 5-hydroxy, 4-methoxy, 4,6-dimethyloxantol, end bracket, oxy, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, heptamethyl 1-oxa 6-azacyclopentadecane 15-one.
And what is the purpose?
I cannot wait.
And what is
Azithromycin. It binds to the 50S subunit of the bacterial ribosome, inhibiting translation of mRNA.
All right. So you throw one of
I would
those
like
at
to
Zidane?
encourage... Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead, EM.
I said, so you throw that at Zidane?
I throw 2 at Zidane and 1 at Armando because you're going to need it if you get scraped up here, and I'm completely out of expedience points. Have a good battle. Bye.
Excellent.
Well,
So I cannot wait to listen to this episode on YouTube with the auto captions. And it's going to list like this ridiculously long medication
Yes.
in crystal form.
so
And this is the GM failing to do rules reminders. How many of us have failed a roll? Have rolled a 1 to 6? I know.
I haven't.
I know. Sadie hasn't, and I know.
think I have done a 5.
Yeah,
one.
you got at least one of them. I think we've had 2. I thought Zidane rolled once.
I almost had one,
You
but
almost
then
had
it
one.
switched.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I
'cause I had
think
advantage.
we've had 2, and I think they were both Armando, right? So Armando.
That's probably right. Yes,
So Armando,
I will, yes.
you also get an XP when you roll a 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have rolled 2 6s. One was a 6 and a 5.
Yep. So you get 2 more XP. So you should, I think, have 12 unless you've spent any.
Yeah, I've rolled a couple of 6s, so.
Not like on the dice. I mean, like you roll a 1 to 6 total.
Oh,
You roll a miss. That's what I
okay.
mean. Yeah.
And I don't have any.
Yeah.
Those darn advantage always giving you guys good rolls.
Yeah. 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 That's another reason to give them disadvantage. Oh, you need XP? Here.
So you both have 2 going forward into this battle. Have fun.
All right.
So
Well,
Okay.
I will look at Zidane and say, I have a thought here that is perfectly appropriate for this situation. It is the Hope Bringer. My teacher gave it to me, and it is a legendary sword. And it happened to be full of like a holy light or whatever. And it is very effective against zombies, or so I have been told. We will see today. So I am ready. Can you remind us how many zombies we see?
So I'm going to say that this is a small group. That you have picked out a small group to attack because you didn't want to be overwhelmed by too many zombies. That seems like a smart thing to do, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good planning. Somebody other than me.
Yeah.
All right. There's special rules about fighting groups, so I gotta grab those up. Hold on. Okay. Well, all right. I'm having trouble finding the rule, which is great, but basically because they are they're at least one category larger, so to speak, than you, because they're a group. When they inflict harm, it's like whatever harm they would inflict on you is increased because there's more of them. So it's very dangerous to go into a fight with a horde of any kind. Okay? All right. So you have a little bit of help from Sadie. Thanks, Sadie. What do? You see there's a group of zombies. They're kind of shuffling towards the road. They have spotted you, so they're moving towards you. These are not fast zombies. This is your typical shambling horror type of thing, and like appropriate to a low level adventuring party. And they're coming for you. What do you do?
Well, we just need to whittle the herd down to one. So I think what we need to do is just hack and slash.
Okay, you want to use brawl, the violence move.
Yes, the violence. I would like to cause violence.
All right. So you are going to basically rush up and hit one, right?
Yeah, I'm starting to cut through these dudes.
Okay. So roll plus daring.
That is a 10.
All right. So you get to choose 2 options from the brawl move. You inflict terrible harm. You suffer little harm. You tag someone as impressed, dismayed, or frightened. You take or keep hold of something, person, or position. You keep something, person, position safe and undamaged. You force your way into someone's position or guard. You force someone into a position of your choosing.
As I already know, it's going to be inflict terrible harm and then suffer little harm.
Okay. All right. So you rush in with your sword and start hacking away at this group. And as you do so, 2 of the zombies grab hold of you and start trying to, basically overwhelm you and drag you down and cause you harm, bite you. Your sword is dramatic and flourishing and impressive and everything else. You're going to take some a temp harm as they bite you or try to bite you and try to claw you and drag you down. So again, as before, fictionally speaking, what's happening is that they're attacking back. You get to decide which of those temp harm boxes you're going to check off and describe for us what that looks like.
Has my original temp harm gone away yet from when I got urinated on?
That was like
part?
Earlier today, so no.
Okay. Let's see. We'll say that I am held. It's the other one.
Nice. I like that. Okay. So they're grabbing you. They're literally grabbing you and hindering you. And even though you're fighting valiantly, you are being pulled down by them. And things might look a little dire here if nothing else changes. But fortunately, Armando is also coming in with his fancy swordplay. Armando, what do you do?
So first of all, I unsheath my Hopebringer, and there is a flamenco guitar that plays very softly in the background.
Ta-da.
And then as that happens, and I see the trouble that Zidane is getting into. And so what I do is I'm a class in this mechanic as a veteran. So as a veteran, I have a fighting style checklist I can do. And so what I would like to do is do that when I brawl. I can pick an attack style, and I'm going to call it the Nicomoy Tempest attack. That is what I was trained in at the Nicomoy Fencing Academy. And so I'm about to perform a Nicomoy Tempest on a small group of zombies. And so what that allows me to do, it says I count as a small group, but inflict little harm by default. So that is what I will do.
Was this a growth move?
I'm sorry?
Was this a growth move?
It is, yes. It's not something I can do just yet because I have not grown.
Not just yet, yeah. Yeah, because we're still very low level in this party. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That is right.
Sorry.
So, no, you know what? That is my mistake, my misunderstanding. So the way it is employed is like, one day I will do the Nicomoid Tempest move. But today, I will just attack regular because that is what I am best at. And so I dash in and I swing my Hopebringer, crashing down on the one that is holding Zidane.
Excellent. So you this is in fact where the Nicomoid Tempest begins to coalesce in your mind as a fighting style, as something that you see as you're doing this fight, like how that would work for sure, right? So you bring your sword in, you bring it down on one of the ones that is holding Zidane. Please roll plus daring.
I got a 12 because I am very daring.
You are. You get to choose two of those options. Inflict terrible harm, suffer little harm, tag someone as impressed, dismayed, or frightened, take or keep hold of something, person, position, keep something, person, position safe and undamaged, force your way into someone's position guard, force someone into position of your choosing.
So what I will do is I will keep Zidane safe, number one. That is my priority. And then the second one, if I have a secondary effect, I would like to cause terrible harm as well.
Terrible harm. Okay. All right. So you, the two of you are causing tremendous harm or terrible harm on these zombies, or this group of zombies. So your blade flashes out, piercing and just doing, I want to say Snickers neck, but you get the idea. And there's a moment here in the midst of this as you drive your sword into the one that's holding Zidane, and he's released from that. So fictionally, you're no longer held, but you still have the checkbox under the temp harm, right? So there's this moment of clarity in this fight where the two of you have a second to pause, and you can discuss your plan or pivot or something if you need to.
I mean, if there's not many options we still have at our disposal, we just need one. So,
I say we get rid of all but one, and then we go from there.
I think we just take one and run.
That works, yes. And what about Sadie? Do we run away from the tree so she can get down and we circle back because we are clearly much faster than a horde of zombies?
That's probably a good idea.
That sounds good.
Okay. Yes, Sadie.
Yeah.
Do you have something you want to do from up in the tree? You're like, no. All right. Okay. So, and then the horde begins moving, like closes in again. Armando, you had just stabbed one, so they're kind of on the tip of your sword, so to speak, right? Do you guys want to try to capture that one?
Yeah, that's what I would say we do, since we've got it.
Yeah, as long as I have not damaged its legs, because we will be walking it and leading it. We don't want to be dragging it, We want it to be able to be mobile,
Okay. All right. So, Zidane, why don't you take your brawl move first? Keep in mind, one of those options is to take or keep hold of something, person, or position. So this might be a good way to capture.
I got another 10, so I got 2 again.
Great. All right. So you're gonna grab this guy.
Yep. So yeah, basically what I want to do is, again, same thing. Grabbing him, and then with the other option, keep myself safe and undamaged from the zombie.
That would be suffer little harm. You're still gonna take harm, and I gotta.
No, there's a thing that says keep something, person, position safe and undamaged.
That's not you. That's someone else.
So I'll just suffer little harm.
Yeah. But also I need Armando to take some damage or some harm because before we had that little moment where you could pivot, he chose to inflict terrible, and he chose to keep you safe, but that means he put himself at risk, and he didn't take that harm. So Armando, as you are getting back into the fight, you realize that you're like you are you've been harmed by the zombies. Like they clawed against your back while you were fighting. You will take a serious harm. And now when you take a serious harm, it has to stack. You have to pick one of the check boxes under serious that matches the fiction, and also one of the temps.
Ooh. I will say... I'm going to say open and vicious gash.
Goodness, these are pretty vicious.
They are. I told you. And don't forget, you have a hardiness point, by the way, if you want to reduce your serious harm to only just temp.
Well, I'm afraid that if I get a deadly harm later, I would want to reduce that.
That's fair.
So I will just go ahead and take the open and vicious gash.
Okay.
That after healing will leave a permanent scar.
Yeah.
Because scars are just tokens of glory. This is fine for me. It's going to be painful at the time, especially I got a sunburn right on my back recently.
Oh, it's even worse. It's even worse.
So this is like exceptionally painful.
Yeah.
But in the end, it will be a fantastic story.
Great.
And the reason why I was laughing is because of Zidane's rock-on fist movement.
Totally.
Thing.
And what's your temp harm with that as well? Because you also have to take a temp harm that matches.
I have to take a temp harm
you have
also.
to take both
I'm
temp and serious when you take a serious.
I look and feel like a mess, bloody, bruised, and torn up. I mean, clearly, I have a vicious gash on my back, and so that seems to go hand in hand with what is happening.
Absolutely. All right. So you do that.
Blood
you take that
on my vest.
Yep. And okay. So and that's what you realize as you're dealing with this. And then Zidane, you had you chose the take little harm. Is that right?
Yeah. Basically.
Take little harm, and then also grab hold of a zombie. So the zombie, when you grab hold of him, doesn't fight back as hard as you think he's going to, but there's one that maybe the one that clawed up Armando tries to reach out and grab you and drag you. So you're going to take temp harm from this.
So can I go ahead and just spend my hardiness point to make that no harm?
Yes, you
or
can.
do I have to take the harm first?
You can spend your hardiness and it ineffectually grabs at you and does not cause you any harm. Armando, Zidane has grappled one of the zombies. What are you going to do?
I think I will proceed with the plan. Oh, yes. I will try to maneuver in a way to escape the zombies along with Zidane and the zombie that he has captured. So I don't know if there is a fighting technique that is a way to slow down an opponent. I don't know if this would apply in this case, but fictionally speaking, I'm going to try to sweep the leg and knock them down. So to give us a head start with our plan.
Sounds great. That sounds very much like you are taking a risk here. So you're going to roll plus your daring, and you have the opportunity here to possibly give advantage to someone to escape, yourself included.
I will give myself advantage to escape because
it's after you roll. It's the result of your roll might give you advantage on something, but
I see.
So go ahead and roll, and we'll see how you do.
Okay. So wow, I roll an 11 plus daring.
It's plus daring.
I roll a 13.
Okay, so you are going to slip out of the horde, and you can give an advantage to someone, yourself included, which could be giving that advantage to Zidane to escape, as you were saying.
I will. He had the muzzle and the zombie, and that is kind of the most important part of this mission. So I will give him advantage to escape, but I will try to escape myself as well.
Oh no, you succeeded. You succeeded in escaping.
Oh.
That was the take a risk to get yourself,
Perfect.
out of the horde.
Then I also give him advantage to escape.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Sadie, are you?
Maybe I should have given it to Sadie. Sorry,
Sadie, are you still cool in the tree?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just watching my friend get a giant gash that'll scar him forever and being like, yeah. I'm like,
Okay. Zidane.
So I'm just got this thing in a full Nelson, basically. And I'm stepping away with it to get away from the horde itself.
All right. Roll plus daring for your take a risk here, because you are definitely acting under pressure to get away from this danger.
Keep rolling of different permutations of 10.
Do you roll with advantage? Because I give you advantage.
Yeah, you got to.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. A 10 or a 15 is the same, but.
Yeah, I got a 10 because I keep rolling different variations of 10.
Great. Okay, so you pull this zombie with you and get out of this mess. You can give advantage to someone, and maybe this is part of that. Let's draw them away from Sadie so she can get away, perhaps.
Yes, let's give advantage to Sadie. Basically, I think they're following one of us, I'm sure. So yeah, they're kind of
okay.
That way Sadie can just scramble down from the tree.
All right. Sadie, you have advantage. You are in the tree, and your friends are drawing the zombie horde away.
That's nice of them. I mean, I've got several packed lunches and water. So, I'm in no particular hurry. But it's very nice of them to help me get out from this tree. If there's still zombies down below, then I will...
That's the advantage they're giving you. They've drawn them away.
Right. So I don't have to roll, or?
I mean, you're really not in any immediate danger at this time.
I slowly meander my way out of the tree. I was going to look around, but
right, let's do it.
If they've got them.
Look, they've got this horde distracted. That doesn't mean there's not others.
I am going to look around.
Okay. So things that are obvious and clear. There is a caravan that is coming up the road. It's actually coming from the direction that your friends are drawing the zombies towards. Do you want to know more?
If you say yes, explain how you act to get extra info and what you pay close attention to, and then roll plus vigilant. I don't want to know more because I'm not vigilant. So,
okay.
I will just alert my friends. And I think I'll do that by crystal resonance. I'm going to flick one of my crystals, and I gave 2. You guys started that battle with 2 advantage. I don't know if you still have... Do you have crystals? Anybody?
I have 1.
Yes, I have them.
All right. I'm just going to flick the crystal, and it'll vibrate. And hopefully you guys look at me, and then I point at the caravan. I don't have that power, so GM can be like, no.
Yeah. I think what you're trying to do is to alert them without making noise that would alert zombies to your presence. Is that right?
That was the idea.
So that's take a risk, because you're trying to do this without getting the danger.
No, that's daring. I definitely don't do that. So I just climb back up my tree. You guys can handle it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Remember,
good.
you have advantage on this roll because they gave you the advantage.
My daring is -1.
So?
An advantage would average 9. So I would theoretically succeed. But then I wouldn't have advantage going forward. And I like my tree very much. So I'm just going to climb up the tree. It's all good. You guys have this. You don't even need me. You still had crystals left. See, I checked on you. You were fine going back to my nap. You're good. And the caravan knows what's up. There's zombies out here.
You said we are leading the zombies to where the caravan is coming from? So we are facing them?
Yes, you didn't realize that, but as because you were like...
Still don't. I'm in my tree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're going to realize it pretty quick when they look up at the road, but you were drawing the zombies away from the tree and not really paying attention to what's coming up the road. And you, as you're doing this, you do see that there's a caravan coming up the road, and you're leading the zombies towards it. On the plus side, the caravan does have wagons that have sides, 2 of them.
Yeah, we could get away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep, because I'm actually walking backward because that's how full Nelsons work. But so I'm going to, just keep walking back that way if someone wants to tell me about the caravan that's there.
That will be me. I'll say, hey, Zidane, there is a caravan coming our way. I think we could probably join them. They might have a problem with your zombie, but if we muzzle it and get it under control before we get there or before we meet, it should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, just grab we just need to put the muzzle on its face and we'll be good.
I assume while you've been like half Nelsoning him, you've been like strapping him
trying
on.
to get it on there.
Yeah, go from half
And I think,
full Nelson to half Nelson, yeah.
I think we've established that Zidane has maybe some muscle memory for wrestling and putting someone into a muzzle. So we'll just say you just do that.
Okay.
So.
All right. So we'll talk to this caravan then, and
so you drag your zombie prisoner up to the road with you, and the caravan driver like pulls up short, and looks at you for like in a moment of like sheer panic because you both look kind of beat up and.
You had a gash that will leave a forever scar.
Yeah.
But I am alive, so
It's true.
Hey,
It's true. Right.
that was worth the risk, frankly.
So what do you do?
I will give a very abbreviated situation to them. I'll say, look, we need this guy to stop all the zombies, but we have more zombies coming, so we need to keep this guy safe. We'll make sure he does not chew any of you guys, but there are more coming. If you can help us, that would be fantastic.
Roll your sway. That's plus your intense stat.
You got it.
And you have advantage probably still left over from a crystal. Count how many advantages you have left. I think.
You gave me, I think, 2 crystals that I have not used.
Yeah.
So I will use one of them. Thank goodness, because with the advantage plus, it was going to be a 5. And now it's going to be a, would you say plus intense?
Intense.
Now it is a 10.
Okay. So the caravan driver looks at you, looks at the horde of zombies, the small horde, the group of zombies that's kind of shambling up behind you, and says, okay, but hurry up because I don't want to be caught by those things.
Also, if it is possible to swing by that tree, and I point at the tree that Sadie is in, just go underneath and we'll have her jump
I'm not
down.
leaving the road.
No, all right. I will use my special skill, and I will shout, Sadie, we're taking this back to the city. I hope you are safe.
Once you guys join the caravan, I've just been watching this whole time for my tree, and I get down from the tree and I join you.
Okay, so you sprint across the kind of the open area between the tree and the road, and join them as the caravan, the wagon driver, picks up speed and starts the caravan going at a energetic trot, shall we say? Because no matter what you do, a caravan isn't going to be at full gallop or anything, right? Like that's not going to happen. But
No.
Okay, so you head back towards Nikamoy with a captured zombie, muzzled, by way of a caravan, and the guards let you through, through the gates. They even, like the guard that you had left, did his best and has for you a special permit that is only good if this zombie keeps its muzzle on. So, and
that's fair.
Names Armando Contenza Villanzo de Medici as the person responsible for this zombie.
I am impressed that they spell it right.
They do not spell it right.
As I look at the form.
They do not spell it correctly at all.
Oh, I squint and go, oh yeah, I need to get my eyes checked. Probably that gash is distracting me.
Yeah, must be. Okay.
So, guys, we have our zombie on a leash. Do we
All right.
let it lead us, or what do you want to do?
That's pretty much what the plan was. Let's just put it on a lead and keep the people off the street and see where it takes us.
Okay, so you basically like try to use it as like your necromantic bloodhound. It's a zombie though. It doesn't have a brain. Like it eats brains. So it's just kind of going towards people more than anything else. And it becomes really clear as it like tries to lead you to a market that's busy, or to there's like a sporting event going on and it leads you that way. It's clearly just going towards where there's life that it could devour. Yeah.
So there are two things I would like to do then. Number one, I would say this is was maybe not a good idea. But I do want to use this to our advantage and say to all the pickpockets in the market, this is what happens when you keep a life of stealing. And I'm pointing to the zombie like this is their ultimate fate. So at least we could use that. And number two, maybe we could lead the zombie to the spark industry and she could tell us what to do because I am a little bit lost.
Okay. All right. So.
Oh yeah, if it was revived by the book, then maybe it'll still be connected to it.
So
that is what I was hoping.
You bring the zombie like to the marketplace to this is what, and what you discover is that in the roughly day that you've been gone out to get the zombie, the pickpockets are now apparently wearing jumpsuits and cleaning up trash. And they have like a couple of guards that are guarding them to, make sure that they fulfill their community service. Yeah. So this is, by the way, this is part of the clock that the hourglass that you set in motion when you bore witness, Sadie. Like this is the consequences of you insisting on justice being served. All right, so you bring the zombie to Professor Spark, and she's very excited because she doesn't usually get fresh zombies like this. Usually she has to make her own. So you, she's very, like you bring it to her, and she's like, "Oh, this one's like, it was barely dead. It looks like."
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So this is yours to. I mean, you can. Sadie brought up an excellent point earlier. We can drop this off with you, and you should be able to figure out maybe the magic or the mechanism that brought it back to life, and you should be able to pinpoint the location of the book.
And she kind of looks at, but the book doesn't bring them back to life.
Then how is it walking?
Well, this is clearly part of the general malaise of and zombification that we've encountered in this region for some time.
What does the book do?
Oh, the book is it's incredibly interesting. See, some undead are like this poor sap, and she gestures at the zombie. They have no mind. They can't think, right? They can't do for themselves. Yes? This thing
that seems that way.
Can just try to chew things. But some undead, they're smart. Vampires, for example, liches, they're intelligent. They're crafty. They're cunning. Yes? Well, zombies are easy to control because they have no brain. But to control vampires, that is a power. You understand? You see? And so you could, in fact, with the knowledge that is contained in Consecration, Last Hope of the Eternal Struggles, you can, in fact, control the mindful dead.
So at this statement, I turn, and I'm not whispering this time. I'm turning to Zidane and Sadie. It's like, why are we getting this book for this crazy lady? If she is going to control vampires, how could this possibly serve as a positive thing? Look around you in this place. It is super spooky.
Yes, this is seeming to be a very large net negative for pretty much existence as a whole. So I bid you good day. You are just as insane as your other counterpart. And Zidane leaves.
On the plus side, you got a sword today.
I did.
And we got now like a pet zombie that I don't know what we're gonna do with that.
I mean, we'll keep him at the guild hall. We'll name him Chris.
Chris, that is good.
Chris Redfield.
Chris Redfield. That is seems like a very proper name for a zombie.
It's an old zombie killing hero that I heard about in legends.
Very good.
Okay.
Sadie, do you have any input to this? What is appearing to be more and more of a disaster of a situation?
I guess I could just buy us all dinner.
That works.
I am pretty famished. I mean, that was quite a fight. I don't know if you saw from the tree. Me and Zidane. That was
Oh, yeah, you're beat up.
I will need to swing by and get a new vest.
Yeah, and let's get you some medical care.
That sounds good.
All right.
So it sounds like there's a crazy book out there and a crazy lady is searching for it, and probably more powers that be are probably searching for it also. And we still have our zombie problem, and teleportation is not a thing. I am glad we found your sword, Zidane, because otherwise I would feel very discouraged.
Yes, it's a positive outlook for me.
So, as you get yourselves situated for a long rest, right? You know, kind of take a couple days off so that you can rest up, you can heal, you can, you know, like not be so beaten up. Armand, Jessup comes to visit you during your rest, and he, you know, like you're clearly in some pain and bandages or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he comes to Armand, clearly like waiting for you to be alone, and Zidane is not there because clearly he and Zidane have things to talk about at some point. He comes to you and he says, Armando, the things that your friend Zidane accused my father of are not good things. And I've had a few days now to think and ask some important questions. Do you think it is possible for a father to do things that he thinks are beneficial for his son, but truly are not?
You have come to the right person. My father is, or was, I should say, a terrible person who was only self-seeking and did everything in his power, it seemed, to aggregate more riches and more power, and to the absolute neglect of me, his son. Yes, I believe it is, in fact, my experience would dictate that is primarily what happened with fathers. But I have seen other people with positive fathers, so it's not across the board. But my experience, as you can imagine, is so intense and so rich that is my view of fatherhood. I will never become a father because that is not how I want to be. Mm. So if your father loves you, and I assume that he does, he may have done things what he thinks is for your benefit, but actually just hurts a lot of people because he does not understand the greater impact of his actions. And so everyone needs to be mindful of what they are doing and how it affects others, because intention is not enough. My father is a perfect example of that. Every single one of his actions had a far-reaching and negative impact. And so I would say that you have to struggle with that. If that is the truth, pursue the truth. Maybe it is not true. I don't know. Maybe Zidane is confusing you with your uncle, like and not your father. I don't know. But it is up to you to find the truth and live the truth. You have to live in reality and live it on reality's terms.
What if...
And then I slap him on the shoulder like, hey, you're a good guy.
What if you learned that who you thought you were was a complete lie?
Oh, that takes a lot of therapy. Or, to be honest with you, or a friend. You know, just stay with a friend and talk to the friend. If you need somebody to talk to, I have been through some things. I can listen.
You know, I need to duel Zidane. We need to settle once and for all which of us is the true champion. I'm afraid it will not be me.
Why must you do that? Is he compelling you to do this? Is your father compelling you to do this? Just respect him as a man and a fellow warrior. And that is okay. You lose no honor. You do not need to burden yourself with a beef that does not exist. You are the victim of choices that are out of your control, as is Zidane. Both of you could be friends and a powerful team, frankly, but your pride is getting in the way.
Well, I'm not so sure about being friends with him. He's a little bit of a jerk, but you, Armando, I definitely could be friends with.
I appreciate that. I have worked with Zidane for this whole episode, and he has not been a jerk to me at all.
Of course. Would you do something with me?
I need to hear what that is first before I can agree.
I need to go to the gladiator arena, and I think it would be good for me to bring Zidane. I think I need to give up my championship belt.
I don't know if that is. What would that serve? Who would they give it to? Would they give it to the Zidane? He was not there.
It doesn't matter. I got it dishonorably.
That is not true. That is not your doing. You were not the dishonorable one. You fought in every competition and you did your best and you conquered the opponent. That is honorable.
Okay. Now,
just because somebody else influenced that.
Now roll sway. Now you're talking him out of doing the thing that he thinks is honorable.
So
I
got
intense,
what do I need to add to a sway?
Intense.
I got a 9.
All right. Okay. In order to convince him of that, I think he needs to hear that from Zidane as well.
That's no problem. So I will say, listen, I believe what you are trying to do is honorable, and you have wrestled with it metaphorically for a while. But come over here. Let's talk to Zidane. And Armando brings him, and he says, Zidane, I explained what Jessup said to me, to Zidane, and everybody's understood. And I say, look, it is not your fault you were not the champion, Zidane. You were taken out of time. If I still don't understand the concept. Jessup, it is not your fault that he was taken out. Both of you are honorable as far as I can see. Jessup wants to return the championship, I suppose, because he thinks that you are more deserving. But Zidane, I need you to chime in to say what you think.
I don't mind the idea of an actual fight for the championship. I need to recover from my wounds, though, and from this harrowing journey before that happens. It's not. Yeah. So
that's fine. I need to practice with my new sword anyway. Get the heft and the weight of it.
Indeed you do.
Perhaps the next time we meet, then.
Next time.
That sounds like a pretty good fight, and you get to keep your honor, both of you.
All right, and with that, with some unfinished business remaining between Zidane and Jessup, and with Jessup and Armando maybe forming a little friendship there, and Sadie having run into her sweetheart, who sends her a poem that is waiting for her when she returns to the guild hall. The poem, I'm not going to recite it. It's all in Elvish, so, it rhymes in Elvish, right? But the poem extols her virtues of being a petite, adorable, cute, soft-spoken, demure individual. So polite, so kind, so giving, so caring.
That's Sadie.
That's Sadie. And with that, the fire-breathing kittens return back. Not really sure where the book ended up. I guess we'll find out in a later episode. It's just out there in the world waiting to be discovered. Thank you all for playing. And we are here today with Zidane, Carmichael.
I am going to take a very long rest and eat many Reuben sandwiches.
Armando Contenza Bilanzo de Medici.
I cannot wait to tell people about how I got this scar.
And... and Sadie Duca.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
It's that part of the show where we tell you about a podcast you might enjoy. Have you heard of Dadventurous? This is an actual play Dungeons & Dragons podcast meant for the whole family. Listen as dad and daughter duo dive into the world of Elsewhere. It's a place where past world technology and magic collide and where mysteries unfold. Join the daughter as she delves into ruins and seeks out answers. Catch Dadventurous wherever you get your podcasts for new episodes every Monday. Come and join the adventure. That's Dadventurous, a podcast.